feels like time has stopped. I realize quickly all I need I already got, and there is no one who can tell me otherwise. I know we're living our best lives. We gon' dance all day, we gon' dance all night. Let your body go, move it side to side. We gon' dance all day, we gon' dance all night. All we need is here and now. We say hi, we say hey. Throw your hands up everyone, yeah we here to have some fun. We say hi, we say hey. Time to party everyone, and it's only just begun. Hey yeah 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 yeah, hey yeah yeah yeah, hey yeah 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 yeah, hey yeah yeah yeah, hey yeah 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 yeah, hey yeah yeah yeah, hey yeah 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 yeah, hey hands go up, stomp your feet. Let me see you kicking it back on the dance floor, on the dance floor. Feel the beat, electrified. Move your hips side to side on the dance floor, on the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor. Show up for yourself, never miss a single day. Be about it, let them know that you didn't come to play. 'Cause you got it, and you mean it, and you get there soon. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Time to party, put those dance moves to good use. Yeah. Put your hands go up, stomp your feet. Let me see you kicking it back on the dance floor, on the dance floor. Feel the beat, electrified. Move your hips side to side on the dance floor, on the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor.
to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. Ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
your mouth, better add your respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is to throw. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone, throw off in my brain and I'm bad to the bone.
It is Saturday night. That means it's another night for the Kart Rider Drift League. My name is William Cho, joined by Peter on this weekend, and we return with another set of team matches and, that nice little twist we have this season, the first regular season, for the solo matches as well.
That is what separates our Wednesdays and Saturdays. We are super excited because now we're on day 9 of KDL, meaning we're about halfway through. So there's not a lot of time left. It's like the alarm bells are going off. Teams need to finalize more results.
Yeah, the sirens are going off. You got to make sure you don't bump into each other. You got to make it to the finish line. And of course, as you mentioned, that means we're kind of nearing the end of that first round for both teams and solos. But let's take a look at what's happening in the team matches, as of course those are our first 2 sets of matches. These are the standings so far, and some things never change. Guangdong Freaks continues to dominate.
Guangdong Freaks looking like the best team potentially in KDL right now after winning against Mira and Sejong earlier on this week. And there's so many teams sitting at 3 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah.
The set and round differentials are important.
Yeah, of course. And we do have 2 sets of pro versus amateur matches today. So the prediction's not too surprising there. Of course, at the bottom, you kind of see what the fans are thinking about the redemption match for solos. We'll explain that further later on. But I think the biggest thing for some of the matches coming up today is, of course, Guangdong Freaks are currently 5-0. If they win today, they absolutely 100% secure first place in the round robin and their ticket to that finals with the better seed. So they're going to look to solidify that, although it does seem very likely. But before that, we have Liiv SANDBOX versus NUTMITE coming up.
And that is potentially the more exciting match here because there's a lot on the line as we see the players from Liiv SANDBOX enter into the stage. And today is a day that's very important. Despite having an opponent that might not be as strong as some of our other professional teams, if they drop a match today, they might struggle to make it to postseason.
Yeah, exactly. You called it out, Peter. So many teams currently tied in terms of overall match score of 3-2. At that point, it does come down to set and round differentials, but Liiv SANDBOX, if they cannot get that 4th win today, if they can't lock it in today, then suddenly that final match they have waiting next week is going to matter a lot more. So looking to really play their hearts out against NUTMITE. And of course, NUTMITE, if they win against Liiv SANDBOX today, they're able to join the ranks of the 3-2 squad, or the 3-3 squad, I guess, at that point in terms of record, and try to eke their way into the playoffs.
NUTMITE certainly is looking like one of our 2 amateur teams, along with Desperado, to actually have a shot at making it to the postseason. But just as you said it, Will, they're sitting 2 wins and 3 losses right now. It is a tough time to be NUTMITE. They need to win against a team like Liiv SANDBOX, who recently have started to get back on form as well. So best of luck to NUTMITE today.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle for sure. Yes, Liiv SANDBOX, they suffered some losses earlier on in the regular season, notably, of course, against their longtime rivals, Guangdong Freaks, and then Mira and Sejong as well. So, they have a losing record against the other pro teams. Finally got that win against Rocks and making sure that they're back on a winning streak. But, Liiv SANDBOX, they're now up against the edge, right? And they're going to say, we have to win no matter what.
Certainly so, and if you take a look at the speed average rank for Liiv SANDBOX, you can see that every single player here really pulls their weight and speed, so there's not too much concern here. In fact, we'll see later on that Liiv SANDBOX, actually, they kind of prioritize item mode today.
Yeah, okay. I mean, they're one of those teams that did well on both modes so far, for sure. So, of course, just making a little bit of fun about the name of NUTMITE. Mites on peanuts. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that's one way to interpret the name. But just having some fun. But you can tell. I think you can tell just from the air of Liiv Sandbox right now as well. They're taking this much more seriously than they might have even some of the matches against pro teams.
That is why it's important right now, especially as we get closer to that postseason. And their opponents today, NUTMITE, a team that we got to see a first glimpse of here in KDL as far as the official kart rider goes. And they have created an ace match with their famous NM scorer and actually won through Will, which I think is a key player for NUTMITE.
Yeah, that willpower. I love it. As someone who also is named William. That is a pun that I've lived with for over 30 years.
Oh, yeah?
So I totally get it. But listen, I mean, this is a team, I mean, that's why they have the 2-3 record. They clearly have the potential. However, rounding out the rest of the regular season, it's Liiv Sandbox today, and then their last matches against Mira and Sejong. So 2 pro teams. So if they want to have a shot at all to get into the playoffs, you hate to say it, but they're going to have to get this win against Liiv Sandbox.
They need to win. The NM score is what the fans are hoping for if you're cheering for Team NUTMITE. And honestly, Will, it feels like to me that speed was just kind of a thing where Liiv Sandbox felt like they're going to win without getting that first track because they got the coin flip win, but they gave the speed priority over to NUTMITE.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is that matter of we're pretty confident no matter what of winning that speed mode, or perhaps it's also just a matter of we really want to make sure we don't lose out on item mode. That's maybe where they feel a little bit of the pressure coming out from NUTMITE, because that is how NUTMITE was able to secure both of their match victories, is having some dominant score lines in the item mode. So we'll have to wait and see what the idea is there. But overall, track list, I mean, the only thing that I'm a little surprised about is NUTMITE picks up Factory Facility 5 in round 3, not even round 5.
Yeah, that's certainly a weird one because we do see that as the round 5 pick more often than not. As we see a fan for NUTMITE here. That's really long. I can't even read that.
Yeah, I didn't read all of it yet either, but we're not going to have time to translate that just yet because we do have to jump right into the race. This is Liiv Sandbox versus NUTMITE on Mine Winding Slopes. And the karts are off to the start at Liiv Sandbox racing in red and NUTMITE racing in blue.
And you can see already Neil and Hyunsu are having a phenomenal start. Vega is hot on their heels, but you can see the midfield is in complete control of Liiv Sandbox. This is going horribly for NUTMITE.
Yeah, I mean, you have Byung-Soo and Jimin ready to block off anybody, and Jimin's been one of those players that has really fulfilled the hybrid role so well for Liiv Sandbox, making sure he can get first place if he needs to, but otherwise he is happy to block off the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, you can certainly see Byung-Soo really just staying with the crowd in the top 3. He hasn't taken any aggressive moves yet because Byung-Soo knows how far ahead his team is at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just keep that 1-2 pretty safely, you called it, Peter. Byung-Soo just has to be, he just has to be in contention like he is now. Oh, Byung-Soo, okay, rubs up against Will just a little bit, and Will actually some good recovery there. And right as I see it, the Massacre strikes again. Will falls all the way further behind, and now nobody from NUTMITE is close to the 1-2.
Skald is so far behind as well. You can see on the minimap, all the hope on NUTMITE is to just break apart the 1-2, but even that, even if Vega does that, so what? Because 6-7-8 is the backline for NUTMITE.
Yeah, I mean, Vega, he's doing what he can, but I think you can tell from the way he's racing, this is kind of out of his hands. The rest of NUTMITE all at the bottom of the scoreboard. A smooth start here for Liiv Sandbox with the 1-2 finish right from the get-go, from the starting line all the way to the finish.
It was an ideal scenario that I think Liiv Sandbox kind of pictured in their mind coming into today. As we mentioned, it felt like Liiv Sandbox was really confident in their speed, and they were just more trying to make sure that their item mode is going to go smoothly. And we can see Liiv Sandbox getting such a dominating win on their opponent's track choice.
Yeah, it also, I think it just goes to show that it seems a lot of amateur teams this regular season, they're willing to pick Winding Slopes because this is one of those tracks where even as a pro player and a pro team, if you make a mistake, it's really hard to catch up. So they're just kind of banking on, all right, everyone play aggressively and let's try to be the ones who get that early lead. However, Liiv Sandbox just says, listen, we've raced on this track so much under pressure, it's not going to shake us at all.
And you can see on their faces, they're just game on today, not having any mercy. You can see on the face of Hyunsu. He looks super serious.
Yeah, I mean, Liiv Sandbox, I don't think we've seen them this serious in most of their matches. They're usually pretty lighthearted. Obviously, they try their best against all of their opponents, but I think, again, the fact that, oh, we might get pushed down in the ranks if we don't win, that's starting to get to them, and they say, doesn't matter who our opponent is, we have to really lock it down and focus 110%.
And you can see Byung-soo with his new hair. He's had it for a while, but he didn't have it in the previous preseasons, and I think it's an iconic look for him now. I kind of consider it like the Super Saiyan mode. He's here to play this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's been working out well for him, right? I mean, preseason 2, he had a bit of a dip after a nice debut in preseason 1, but continuing to rise in the ranks within Liiv Sandbox. Now we get ready for their pick of track in round 2. It is Glacier Extreme Stadium.
And in we go to our round 2 of Speed. And Liiv Sandbox is definitely comfortable in Glacier Extreme Stadium. This is a track they played so many times. So although we are seeing a great start from NUTMITE, it's no surprise that Liiv Sandbox, they soon take control of that midfield once again.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of those tracks that Neil has always been able to try to catch right back up as we enter lap 2. It's also historically a lap that I feel Byung-soo has done well on, but currently he is stuck back in 6th, 7th, and 8th place, just kind of competing against Skald and trying to make sure they double team with Neil at the back end.
But Wave and Will are really keeping up the hopes alive for NUTMITE. They need to make sure that at least this 1-2 is not available. You can see Hyunsu has a pretty nice lead, but Wave comes in with a nice line there, and he's able to take first.
Yeah, oh, but Jimin with a nice cut around the last corner as well. A good block on the jump to make sure that Wave cannot try to get the out-to-end corner, and he's still continuing to contest. But as you called it, NUTMITE, they now have a really good chance. Wave still contesting in the top 3, and then you still have Will right behind as well.
You can see Wave and Hyunsu, that's the 1v1 happening. They keep trading hands, and Wave is quite far ahead, but Hyunsu, of course, is going to be able to catch back up soon. And Skald, he's all the way back in 8th. Skald and Vega needs to catch up, otherwise it's up to Wave and Will to 1-2.
I mean, let's be honest, the real thing that Skald can do right now is to make sure that the team boost is more readily available for Wave and Will, because that's the only thing that's going to make sure that they stay safe in the 1-2. Currently, the 1-2 seems to be the only win condition of Byung-soo. He's looking for an angle. Jimin going for the block as well. This should open things up in the hairpin for Byung-soo.
Oh, but the 1-2 once again is being taken. Jimin with the fantastic block there. He just needs to keep Will behind, because if NUTMITE gets this 1-2, that's their only win condition.
Yeah, and Jimin, he's going for their contesting point for point. Jimin just wants to...
Oh!
And no, that's the drop from Hyunsu as he tries to go for a greedy jump at the very end. Make sure they secure the point lead. They could not do so, and it is going to be NUTMITE with a round 2 win.
That is a surprising turnaround, because just as you called it, Will, Skald was focusing a lot on building up that team booster gauge, but he was actually able to win out in the end, come in at 6th place, and it was Liiv Sandbox with the 7-8. So once their front of the line just kind of fell apart, it was really hard to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Liiv Sandbox was starting to feel the pressure because Vega was up there alongside Will as well. So even if Jimin was able to try to get first, it wouldn't have been enough points. They tried to go for a Hail Mary play on the last jump, and NUTMITE, they just have to race their own track and secure a tied score 1-1. You got to imagine this is already not a place that Liiv Sandbox wanted to be in today.
Certainly not. Every time you go against NUTMITE, you're kind of afraid that they might take you to the round 5. And Liiv Sandbox is a team that hasn't yet gone to round 5 against amateur teams. But now we'll see if NUTMITE can make that happen for the first time here in track number 3, Factory Facility 5.
And the race is off as NUTMITE brings us to Facility 5. Not a track we see so often early on in the rounds of speed mode, most notably because obviously there's several shortcuts, lots of these jumps that you have to make, and it's generally a pretty risky track, right? One small mistake and it's going to be very tough for you to catch up on.
Yeah, if you mess up, you're kind of done for, which is why we're keeping an eye out for NUTMITE. What is the reason they chose it? Seems like Vega is feeling pretty confident in himself right now, leading the pack, and Skald is coming up for the backup.
Yep. All right. We kept an eye on Neil at the back end, try to see if he goes for a Neil bit to cut some time, but no, he just goes for the standard jump as well. Still stuck in 8th place. Meanwhile, Vega, he is way far ahead, and Skald, he's actually keeping good check on Byung-Soo, but Jimin is there for the double team, and that forces Will out and Skald all the way to the back. Vega all alone in the top ranks.
Yeah, there's so much emphasis on Neil being in last, but with Liiv SANDBOX taking 2, 3, 4, that is also a win condition, so Vega needs some support right now, and we can see off that jump, Liiv SANDBOX still maintaining that 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, NUTMITE, they don't even have to worry about Byung-Soo right now. They just have to focus on breaking up the 3 and 4, and Vega, it's up to him to make sure Byung-Soo doesn't get first place.
Oh!
And as I say that, Byung-Soo able to just go right under Vega. Oh, a massive collision though, and now it's anybody's game once again, a 20-19 point score. Oh no, Wave completely lose control off of that jump.
Oh, Neil with the fantastic play there is going to allow Liiv SANDBOX to get a clear 1-2 victory. Hyunsoo and Jimin seals the deal.
Wow, I mean, what a sequence of events. And again, this is one of the risk and reward of Facility 5, right? There's so many areas that are already naturally prone to collisions. And if you have some tricks up your sleeves, or if you have the teamwork to double team against someone, you can make a lot of changes happen in the last moments in the rankings. Liiv SANDBOX making sure they aim for that goal and they achieve it perfectly.
You got to give a lot of props over to Liiv SANDBOX. We saw the reason why NUTMITE picked Factory Facility 5 as the track for round 3, because they had such an excellent control in the beginning portion of that race. But I loved that Hail Mary play coming out of Neil. It bought so much room and time for Liiv SANDBOX, and the 1-2 was just so easy at the end.
Yeah, I mean, several moments, and Neil just comes in and he's able to secure all that space and time. So NUTMITE, I respect it. I love the idea of picking that in round 3. Try to make sure you get another point on the board, but it doesn't work out, so they're now on their back foot once again. Going over to Liiv SANDBOX's choice in round 4 of Speed Mode on World Tour Miami Drive.
We kick off into our speed round 4. This is match point for Liiv SANDBOX right now. And Jimin actually holds the best track record here in KDL. And you can see he wants to set a new one. He's still in first place.
Yeah, he's able to secure that right away off the starting line. Wave just competing against some of his opponents. Make sure he finds his own build back here amongst the trees. Jimin still steadily in first, but NUTMITE, they do have a lot of support for each other. So quite a few options for NUTMITE in terms of team play as we go towards the later half of lap 1.
NUTMITE certainly feeling pretty confident up in the top right now. They just need to make sure that the 3 players can stay up top, because Will, he's focusing all on building that team booster gauge right now. He's so far behind.
Yeah, it did seem like Neil was going for, you know, a bit of a straight boost. Now,
oh, Byung-Soo!
Byung-Soo gets bumped out, and now he is more or less out of the race for the time being. A couple more players with collisions back and forth, but NUTMITE still able to put some players back in the front. Vega now in the lead for NUTMITE, competing against Hyunsoo.
This is looking great for NUTMITE, certainly, with having Byung-Soo locked into that 8th place. They just need to make sure not even the 1-2, but that the whole team can stay ahead. But this 2-3-4 from Liiv SANDBOX is their win condition.
Yeah, Will, he just has to break it apart. Just any number of players being knocked out, and Will's gonna bump against the corner there. That gives a little bit of a lead once again for Neil, and Vega, no support from his teammates, is losing the lead against Liiv SANDBOX. Liiv
SANDBOX in firm control right now. NUTMITE needs to find a way to take out Neil from that 4th spot. Even if Vega takes first, that's not enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things on the plate of NUTMITE right now. Vega, he's trying to get first, right? Just buy a little bit more breathing room for the rest of his team.
Oh.
And Vega with a great block around the corner, able to secure first place for now. Hyun's just gonna look to do the same, but Wave is here, and the entire team of NUTMITE have regrouped as if it's just a superhero squad grouping together, making way for Vega.
The whole army of NUTMITE is here to save the day. The 1-2-3 there right now. Byung-Soo doing all he can, but NUTMITE seals the win with the 1-2 finish.
And that is going to be the NUTMITE score, returning once again. It strikes on every day that NUTMITE plays. We are getting ready for a round 5, and we're only in speed mode. Liiv SANDBOX currently in danger of being on their back foot in the overall set score as NUTMITE bring things back 2-2 in speed mode.
Liiv SANDBOX, they definitely don't want to lose in speed, because item is where a lot of our amateur teams can take a set win over the professional team. So losing speed would mean so much more pressure than Liiv SANDBOX was prepared to deal with today.
And you got to imagine for NUTMITE, it's just a matter of keeping your emotions in check, right? Don't get too ahead of yourselves. But let's take a look at this replay real quick here. Vega with a nice block against Liiv SANDBOX. And as Hyunsu's looking to do the same, a nice boost off of the jump gives a huge speed advantage for NUTMITE, and they're able to just pretty much crowd him out, right? And Hyunsu just not able to find an opening amongst all the opponents.
Yeah, Vega's done such a great job there, being able to give his team that space they really needed. And these clutch plays are what NUTMITE needs. Is now we're getting ready to move on to round 5. And the track is picked by NUTMITE, so let's see if that advantage comes through here in the Village Boom Hill Tunnel.
And the race begins on round number 5. Liiv SANDBOX versus NUTMITE. Can NUTMITE get the lead in this matchup here in speed mode?
It's looking like Liiv SANDBOX has a much better position overall. You can see Skald and Will, they're not too far behind, but Neil's going to be getting those sweeps in very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a lot on Neil's plate right now, because something we've noticed is, yeah, NUTMITE, they seem to be okay with having a slower start, and then they look to crowd the sweeper, but a bit of a ping pong back and forth for Will, not able to regain control of his own cart, and that loses a lot of the pressure that they were trying to put onto the 1-2-3.
And you can see Hyunsu right now putting a lot of emphasis on keeping Wave behind, because Liiv SANDBOX is so far ahead in their 1-2 that all Hyunsu and Neil needs to do is sweeping.
Yeah, Hyunsu, he is going to lose track of Wave, but still able to keep a check on Skald, but here comes Will once again, so pressuring Neil, he's not anywhere close to catching up. Now Wave going on the railing, but Jimin and Byungsu still so far ahead, slightly out of draft range. Wave, he needs to break that 1-2 right now.
He's trying, but I feel like all that matters for Liiv SANDBOX is to not make a mistake.
Oh!
And you can see so many mistakes for NUTMITE, but not at all in the 1-2 from Liiv SANDBOX. And it's looking like Liiv SANDBOX are going to secure a win here in speed round 5 off of this 1-2 from Jimin and Byungsu.
Yeah, just smooth sailing for Jimin and Byungsu, and you got to give a bunch of credit to Hyunsu, right? He's able to keep a Wave in check for quite a long time, eventually loses track of him, but towards the end as well, as we see that spin turn coming out from Wave, he's able to just try to pressure them into taking a riskier play that actually drops Skald on the shortcut. Hyunsu, he also doesn't make the jump, but he trusts his teammates to take the 1-2, and it will be Liiv SANDBOX winning 3-2 here in speed mode in this team match.
Although we don't have the player cams on our screen right now, I feel like Liiv SANDBOX, they have to be just swiping their sweat away, because this was such a close one here in speed, going all the way to that round 5. But now, with the speed set going over to Liiv SANDBOX, NUTMITE, they need to pull through in item mode for us to have an ace match.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they showed a good race here in speed mode, right? We saw a couple nice ideas, even picking up, picking Facility 5, although they didn't get the win on it. Curious to see what they have prepared for us in item mode. Meanwhile, Liiv SANDBOX, they chose item priority, putting Dalta, their item ace, at the helm. And he's had some good moments of leading this team to a couple item mode victories. We'll see if he can do the same today to avoid that ace match.
Yeah, the synergy between Dalda and Jimin has been noteworthy as of recent, especially with Jimin leading the pack for a lot of the strategies around Liiv SANDBOX. On the other hand, we have Snoopy coming in now for NUTMITE. And NUTMITE, this is a team that I would say is actually pretty strong in item mode as well.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree, and I think a lot of that comes from Snoopy. Snoopy always seemed to have a pretty aggressive and proactive mind about interpreting the item mode. We'll see how he's able to do. We have a fan from Hong Kong. Welcome. Welcome to Seoul, and welcome to the KDL. Hope you're enjoying the show, here to cheer on Neil and Liiv SANDBOX. Take a look at the item mode track list, as Liiv SANDBOX did take item priority.
Yep, and you can see they chose Motherlode, Clock Tower Crossing, as well as the Cemetery Circuit. And we've seen these graveyard tracks a lot. I feel like our teams are really comfortable with that thematic as of right now, as we can see NUTMITE, they went for another factory track. They love the thematics of factory.
Yeah, and it seems like NUTMITE, they're trying to go for these tracks where the track itself provides a lot of the obstacles on top, right? Cogwheel Crush has a little bit of that, of course, seaplane base. It's a long one, and it's got, notably, that seaplane. Not a big surprise based on the name of the track. So we'll have to wait to see what the idea is here. Can Liiv SANDBOX close things out, or will it be NUTMITE crawling back for another ace match? We find out as we kick off item mode on Mine Motherlode.
Our first track of item is going to be a 3-star difficulty one here in the Mother Lode. And I feel like this is a track where we've seen some great water bomb usage, so I got my eyes open for them.
Yeah, especially here in the regular season, we've seen a lot of multi-hits with the water balloons, so curious to see how that comes into play. Liiv SANDBOX, surely a team that is very well practiced with the distancing and targeting. Already seeing them try to target these narrow areas where there's just no way for you to dodge unless you have a shield.
Ooh, yeah, just as you say that, we're seeing a great usage of water bomb there. And the key strategy for Liiv SANDBOX, I feel like, is trying to have Jimin constantly in the lead, but he's not in great position for that, so Jimin's going to be more of a supportive role this time. Yeah,
just throws out a water bomb to try to make sure that they keep the tempo here. The Wisps as well to make sure Hyunsu and Dalda can keep the lead. Now, double Angel on Dalda, he could very surely use one of them liberally just to keep the tempo going. He'll still have one in his back pocket, and Hyunsu still has a shield and EMP, so both of them fairly safe. Ooh, Skald getting caught right at the edge of that water balloon.
Yeah, I love the position for Liiv SANDBOX right now. Wave is hot on their heels. He's going to throw out the double missile, and it seems like they didn't connect. But Hyunsu has so much defensive options, especially with Dalda. They're absorbing those aggros.
Yeah, Dalda, he's able to just kind of eat that Wisp. He's able to still keep that Guardian Angel for Hyunsu in the future. Hyunsu still with another shield as well. Keeping my eye on the items there. Byungsu's going to take the long way around to try to refresh his items. Does have a missile ready to go. He uses that to get the tempo ahead of Snoopy.
And you can see Wave trying so desperately to catch up to Hyunsu, but Dalda has been doing such an incredible job of defending this position as the water bomb finally puts a stop to that, and now it's up to Byungsu to play that protective role.
Yeah, and that water bomb made sure that Dalda wasn't able to refresh his items just yet, so he just picks up a second one in the rocket. He's gonna fire off that missile, but Hyunsu, he is so healthily in first place, not even in front on anyone's screen right now. He is way behind the barricade, way out of range from the water bomb. There goes the Wisp, but the shield is still available. In fact, Byungsu eats one of that as well.
Hyunsu looking absolutely unstoppable here, especially with Jimin leading that second place. Skald and Wave, they don't have a single items right now.
Yeah, you can't stop this guy. He's so far forward. You use the Guardian Angel just in case, and it's going to come right on time before the missile hits. I mean, Hyunsu just was a non-target for the later half of this race, and a lot of that comes down to having those early defensive items on both himself and Dalda, right? They keep so much of that tempo. Dalda draws so much aggro, and all that time, Hyunsu's able to keep his max top speed going all the way to the very end.
We've seen that classic Liiv SANDBOX strategy here in item mode, and it's really scary when you see it work this well, because Liiv SANDBOX is certainly a team that can repeat this strategy over and over. They may as well take 3-round wins using that same exact strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it works out well for them. The teamwork is there, obviously. Overall, their racing is fine and dandy, and I think they're understanding that if everyone's focusing on cycling through aggression, why don't we just cycle through defense, right? There is a way to counteract that. If we have not just one person, but 2 people out front, you can help trade off of each other, make sure one person's drawing the aggro, providing extra support, and that way you just cycle through shields, keep your top speed, you know, for more than a full lap, and that means you're just so far ahead that even if you did get hit by any items, you would be safe. But we find out if they can continue that in the next track, which is going to be NUTMITE's choice here in round 2. It goes over to Factory Cogwheel Crush. Currently, Liiv SANDBOX leads 1-0 in item mode. If they are able to win 3 points in item mode, they will win the entire match 2-0 overall. A set score, obviously looking to do that, make sure they extend their set differential as well as another match win on the board.
But I'm really excited right now to see how this round's gonna go, because we talked so much about NUTMITE showing heavy preference for the factory tracks, and they did have a pretty good start as we see Byungsu. I wonder, I'm looking out for that big banana.
Yeah, the big banana. It looked like he was looking for a moment as well, but not going to find the opportunity to use it, as he is going to get missiled out and spins a little bit out towards the edge of the track. Of course, a 2-lapper, we should note that as well, so each lap being slightly longer, but that does mean you're not going to have as much of an opportunity to just keep running away for the entire race.
Ooh, nice dodge from Snoopy there. He's going to stick around in the middle, but that's actually going to set him back a bit as Sirens get some great usage there on the shortcut. Snoopy's going to get slowed down by the UFO as well.
Yeah, the barricade's coming out just to make sure no one can keep up too much speed. Dalda, he's going to expertly maneuver around. Currently does have a magnet, so for Liiv SANDBOX, a couple options here. If they have someone else who can catch up, Dalda can always kind of take that second place, the alternative runner there to try to cross the finish line towards the end. But to do that, you're going to have Hyunsu or somebody else at least catch up a little bit sooner.
NUTMITE, we saw Wave, he's having an Angel, but he didn't pop it for that Lightning. It seems like the front runner had a shield ready to go, so he just decided to eat the Lightning as we see Dalda and Jimin really trying to retake control.
Oh, I think I see the idea here from Dalda. He's keeping that magnet. You see Byungsu with double boost, and you see Jimin with boost as well. If one of them can get onto that shortcut towards the end on the top side, Dalda could very easily magnet up, and they have two people able to try to cross the finish line first. We'll see if it works out, because you do see a couple other magnets on NUTMITE as well, notably Skald right now, and no EMP for Liiv Sandbox.
And Skald having a great read on their opponent's strategy. He just keeps holding on to that Magnet Siren combo, so that's going to be the key play here for Skald, but he does eat that Water Wisp as a result.
Oh, and he's able to just dash right by the Water Bomb before it hits, and he's trying to keep the lead. UFO being eaten by Skald, but Wave, he's able to try to run away from the Magnet, but Byungsu is able to use the extra acceleration right towards the end. I was wondering if that would be enough, and Byungsu is going to just edge him in towards it as Will gets slowed down a little bit too much.
That has to be a fraction of a second that Byungsu was able to come in, because it really looked like NUTMITE, they were in a solid position to finish that one up in the race going in their favor, but Byungsu comes in just 0.02 seconds almost ahead of Will.
I mean, super close, and I think NUTMITE thought they had it in the bag, because otherwise you would have seen Wave maybe try to at least body block Byungsu as he's coming up with that magnet, but unfortunately, Will was pulled back a little bit too far. Wave, I think, maybe thought, you know, it was in the bag, and Byungsu just actually magnets off to the side and says, hello, peekaboo, here I am, crossing the finish line first, and that is a 2-0 lead in item mode. Let's take a look here at the end. So, Byungsu, oh, it's just going to be his boost on his own. And that's how he's able to get it. Okay, it was his teammate who was able to use the magnet, but the boost, and that's why they didn't have any idea either, because it's not the magnet that's boosting him forward, it's just a straight nitrous.
Just like you said, Skald and Will, they weren't ready for that, so you saw them not really trying to block out Byungsu there. They were focusing more on their lines, and with that nitrous combined with the fantastic line choice from Byungsu, he was able to close that one off.
Well, that means NUTMITE, they're on their last leg here, now in item mode as we go to round 3. Liiv Sandbox leading 2-0, taking us to Village Clock Tower Crossing.
We get into the race. We are here now on item round 3, and this is match point for Liiv Sandbox on their track choice as well. It's a 2-star difficulty track, and Clock Tower Crossing is a track we've always kind of just focused about the tempo gameplay, because we see teams, if they get a big lead in Clock Tower Crossing, it's really hard to come back from that point. So you can see Byungsu putting emphasis on that playstyle.
Yeah, and you'll see why here in a little bit. Of course, there's this jump right next to the clock tower, but afterwards you have that very narrow shortcut, and then it's just the finish line. So if you're able to stay in the lead, even if you're close by, it's going to be very hard for you to pass an opponent, as we see Byungsu just with some excellent sweeping there, and then trying to cross the finish line near the end. And Byungsu, not only did he sweep, but by doing so, it slows both himself and his opponent down quite a bit, and Dalda currently so far ahead, another shield in his pocket.
Dalda getting all the shields he needs at the right moment. You can see him cycling through them beautifully, and he picks up another shield. Yeah, this banana is not going to be too helpful, so he is going to finally get caught out by the Water Wisp.
Yeah, it's going to be a sequence of Water Wisp, and Dalda just waiting to try to make sure. Yeah, that's teamwork right there. The Liiv Sandbox Water Bomb, Dalda surely calls for that, slows down with his opponents, catches everyone, and it's a reset here as we do see Will and Jimin now in the lead.
Jimin doesn't have any items here, but Will, he's holding on to a nitrous and a shield, so Will has to be the player now for NUTMITE to clutch this, because he's fighting 1v3.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad lineup, but here's the thing. Will, it does appear that he wants to keep this item lineup for as long as possible. He was just forced to use a shield. Nice water bomb coming out from NUTMITE. And Will, if he can get some attacks, already used his boost, trying to catch up to Jimin, and Jimin still just barely inching forward.
You can see Will, he's got that Water Wisp ready to go. The UFO connects onto Jimin. Now, it's Will's turn to stay in the lead, and this is almost the final portion of lap 3.
Yeah, he is going to rush the double shield, so he uses both, and that's going to force the reset off of the jump. Dalda now able to avoid the barricades. And with that drop from Will, Dalda, and then Jimin, they're just going to trade places around this shortcut. No way for anyone to try to pass by. Even an excellent guarantee insurance water bomb from Liiv SANDBOX right there at the end of the shortcut, as we saw. But it's going to be a clean 3-0 in item mode for Liiv SANDBOX, showing us why they took that priority, and that leads us to a 2-0 match victory win for SANDBOX.
The timing of the attacks from Liiv SANDBOX in that round 3 was just a masterpiece, because it felt like they had such a great read on their opponent's game plan. We saw some great sweeping coming out of Byungsu as well. This was just classic item mode played to its finest.
Yeah, I mean, Liiv SANDBOX just playing it textbook style, get the lead, keep the lead, tempo, and then some nice teamwork as well with those water bombs, right? Coordinating to make sure you force your opponents to slow down alongside you. A great collection of textbook plays from SANDBOX, and showing us that they're not here to make these small mistakes in item mode. However, we did see speed mode go 3-2 all the way to that NUTMITE score. So you got to wonder, for SANDBOX, sure, they get, another win on the board for the leaderboard, but how far can that take them potentially into the playoffs?
And we have global fans here. What's going on? So many people coming in from all over the world. This is what the power of our superstars have.
Yeah, I mean, also it's fall season, right? The end of fall season, kind of the peak of esports all around the world, so a great time to visit Korea as we have a lot of events going on. But we see the score line here. It was a little iffy in speed mode, but Liiv SANDBOX, they are able to edge it out 3-2, and then it's a clean 3-0 in item mode.
It certainly was concerning to see Liiv SANDBOX struggling against NUTMITE and Speed today, but out of all the matches they played so far, they haven't been pushed to that round 5 by any of the amateur teams, so I'm sure Liiv SANDBOX will just take today as a hiccup. In fact, they've only lost Speed as a set only to the professional team, so at least they get this match win today. Now they're 4-2, so they have a pretty good shot at going to postseason now. Yeah, I mean, I think they should be fairly safe for postseason overall. Obviously, the question remains on what the standing would be as well, because you do have to take that into account, right? Being in top 5 itself is not good enough, because then you have to play a couple more matches in that wild card section to try to climb up to challenge the potential finalists. And Liiv SANDBOX, I mean, with the history that they have, and especially with this type of roster, their eyes are going to be set on KWANGDONG FREECS, who dominated the preseason. So for them, the goal isn't to win today, but it's to keep this momentum going all the way to the end to try to lift that very first trophy in KDL. Speaking of KWANGDONG FREECS, they are playing later today, right? And just as you put it, KWANGDONG FREECS, they're undefeated right now, 5-0. So even if they lose today, there's no concern for them. But of course, we want to see Liiv SANDBOX, if they can now finally pair up to the level that KWANGDONG FREECS has shown us this whole entire year in KDL.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question for Liiv SANDBOX, is can you finally reach back to being the top team? For the longest time in Cartwriter, they were the team to beat. But now in KDL, it seems like, okay, you guys are good enough to always be top 2, but I think the KWANGDONG FREECS are the dominant force right now. So all eyes on them. And you mentioned it, obviously for KWANGDONG FREECS, even if they lose, they're safe for the postseason. But if they win today, it's a 100% guarantee that they're going straight to the finals as that upper seed. So I don't think they're going to take any chances, especially as they face a potentially kind of wild team that has nothing to lose, right? Coming up and always as that amateur team.
Yeah, always. It's really difficult for them. They're 1-4 right now. To make it to postseason would take such a miracle. And to be going up against KWANGDONG FREECS when you got to win every single match, it's maybe it's timeout.
It's tough. It's tough for always. But again, I think you have to take it as we have nothing to lose, right? We still have this chance to race against a team like KWANGDONG FREECS. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on what happens there. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a short break. And when we return, we continue more team matches in KDL with the KWANGDONG FREECS and always. to be WooJun. So it's going to be the OG Emperor himself trying to defend the throne here for Mira and Sejong.
Here, but Looning, he's still within the range to draft, so he's applying that pressure back onto WooJun.
Yeah, and WooJun's just trying to play the stop game, but eventually, yeah, he's gonna find that to try to make sure he catches up to WooJun. He stops him, gets his own second boost right on time, is able to keep the lead, now neck and neck again, but WooJun, oh, this
Boost gauge difference, he's leading right now in front of Looning.
And Looning, does he play aggressively around the 90 degrees? No, he can't. Mate doesn't have a shot. Looning will have one more opportunity if he's able to get the draft once they land here from the jump, but WooJun's trying to line himself up, make sure he can block anything, and another nice sweep from WooJun to make sure the outside turn does not come in from Looning. What a read, such awareness from the veteran himself, the king.
The ace match against Sungnam Rocks, and although they suffered a setback,
Tried to just get into the lead, and now he has it.
and he has also the better line right now. I was gonna say until Striker came in with
Oh!
a very aggressive.
After he doesn't get onto this bridge. So Ding, it's now up to you. Do you decide to try to block as you are right now? Do you give it up? Go for your own draft towards the ending.
Ooh.
Striker with what a block on
Matchup, but he does have a better maintenance on his boost gauge, and he has the draft range as well.
Yeah, he's got full boost right now. Striker knows this. He knows he has to just play for the blocks. Both of them going on the sidewalk. Ding, can he go for the aggressive play? No, he spins out a
Striker!
little too far. Striker is able to just absolutely cut the corner to perfection. Meanwhile, Ding, he tries to go for the straight boost.
Come through as they try to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, but we saw what Konsu was able to do on that previous round. But look at
Wow.
Hero. He finds that opening as they come out.
On slowing down Jimin a little bit, not really focused on getting 1-2 himself. Just trying to set up for WooJun, another player that could be a speed ace on many teams as Hero continues.
Seemingly deciding that they're going to be the 1-2 punch. So it's up to Byung-Soo now for the blocks. Hero, he's constantly looking for a good opportunity. Look at that. He not only threads the needle himself, tried to block out Hyunsu. It doesn't pay off in the end, but a great attempt again from Hero. He's trying to buy so much time, but WooJun and Guard, they're still further behind.
I mean, Hero's just doing an incredible job. There's been a 1v2 or 1v3, and he's just able to find the inner line and evade the body fight, just threading the needle, as you said, and trying to buy time. And now WooJun is getting closer, so right now it's looking like a Liiv SANDBOX victory, but if Mine and Sejong could come out with some heroics here as we enter the final stretch. Hero now in first place, 500 meters left to go. Liiv SANDBOX, they're falling behind, they're going for the build.
Oh,
Up
Guard.
here on the curb, Hero Skirl in first place, but Liiv SANDBOX, they do not have enough points on the board. It's gonna be a 1-4-5-6 for MSJ as they take speed mode 3-1 over Liiv SANDBOX.
Hero, absolutely.
Place we see him drive off the track is now it's gonna be WooJun with double shields in first, and Hero
Might come down to a speed race at the very end of the third lap.
does kind of feel that way. Oh, I love this siren from Guard, actually getting
As well, EMP on Guard. The defenses are there for Mira and Sejong.
oh, but the water balloon comes through. Two of the Mirror and Sejong players get caught as we have 300 meters left to go. It's gonna be double shield right now on Hero. Jimin gonna make a play right there with a nitrous, but he gets caught by a water wisp. Byung-Soo, no, he doesn't! He doesn't! I thought he had it! And instead, Miri and Sejong just absolutely pumped.
Korea. Then he said, yeah, I'm gonna just sit this one out. And then now he comes back. He's still in contention for this entire race. Still gonna have to take as we go through these curves.
And Guard right now in first place does fall in a second. It's actually leak your nitrous gauge anymore. Everyone gonna go on the left side build here. Will now in first place. Guard right behind him.
Yeah, and Will just trying to deviate from the pack a bit earlier to make sure he doesn't get bumped out. That allows him to keep the inner line. He's trying to stay just 1 inch ahead, but Cool out of nowhere from 7th place all the way. Poses in store. That's his pose, but it just works so well for this very first track.
You gonna see through his mind's eye what was gonna happen. He's like, yeah.
y'all better add your respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is to throw. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone, throw it off in my brain and I'm back to the bone.
Welcome back, everyone. We return with tonight's KDL matches. We are now awaiting the second match of the night, which will be another team match, and this time it's between the top dogs and the underdogs. First up, it's going to be the Guangdong Freaks.
Guangdong Freaks, they're having an unstoppable season right now. Not a single match they lost. They're 5-0 in the standings. And on top of that, they haven't lost a single set in speed yet.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, just shows how dominant they are, right? Never really had to be pushed too far in speed mode, which is, of course, their specialty, but they also prove to be fairly formidable in item mode because they're still one of the teams that sticks with this 4-man roster, and it continues to work here in the very first regular season of the KDL.
Guangdong Freaks absolutely going unpunished for that here in KDL, but their opponents today always looking to put some punishment finally on Guangdong Freaks, like, hey guys, you guys don't have an item ace, but we do, and the question is, can always win against Guangdong Freaks an item and take us to that ace match.
It's gonna be a tough one, right? I mean, always they are currently sitting near the very bottom of the standings. They were able to get a pretty dramatic win in the very first match here of the season against Mira and Sejong, which is a pro team, but that came through a very grueling item mode and then quite a close ace match, right? And you gotta say it's more about the taking advantage of the mistakes that Mira and Sejong made there towards the end. So curious to see if Always are able to now prove their own strength today against one of, if not the best teams here in the KDL.
And the funny part is, even in that victory against Mira and Sejong, they went 0-3 in speed. They haven't won a single round in that match, and overall, they only won 1 round in speed total for the whole entire season. And to be going up against Guangdong Freaks, who's great at speed, it's kind of like the worst matchup possible for Always.
It really is, right? Both teams have played 5 matches so far, and you're going up against one team who's won all of their speed modes quite cleanly, and then the other side, they've never actually won. Oh, I love it. They're able to focus on their own pictures there, on their little gifts. But of course, Guangdong Freaks, huge support here in the Korean fan base as well. And we were talking about this during the break, but here, as they say, right, this is one of those teams that they will never joke around no matter how easy they think the match is. Guangdong Freaks is all serious mode, all about winning, all about getting to that finish line.
I expected just about this line from Guangdong Freaks. I feel like whenever they're up against an opponent they feel like they're going to win against, they're always very respectful. They don't say anything. They're just like, let's have a good day today. So, pretty typical.
Yeah, in some ways boring, but hey, they are focused on winning, so I can't blame them, right? It is a competition at the end of the day. Now, it's going to be Always, and you know, Peter, you mentioned they've only won 1 round of speed mode so far, but something else we should note is they've actually only won 1 round in the last 3 matches that they played each, right? So each match, they've only gotten 1 track win. 2 of those in item mode, 1 of them in speed mode. So Always is really hungry for any type of victory here, and it's going to be a tough one against the best team currently in the KDL.
And you can see in the speed average ranks that Diamond is the player that really stands out here, as they're saying it's about time for a jinx to break.
Yeah, I mean, so Guangdong Freaks, they haven't gotten that clean sweep through the regular season just yet. They've also had some noticeably struggling moments against amateur teams, which is very uncharacteristic for the Guangdong Freaks. So Always trying to bank on perhaps a little bit of this outside superstition aspect of the competition, but they're going to need more than that. They're going to need more than that if they want to make an upset happen today. And we take a look at the track list. We did see Always take the coin win. They took item priority, perhaps just accepting the fact that speed mode is going to be what it is, and Kwangdong Freaks tries to prove that by taking us to Construction Chaos right off the bat.
And you can see Brazil Circuit and Winding Slopes here for Kwangdong Freaks. They're gonna, honestly, I don't even feel like these are classic Kwangdong Freak tracks. I feel like they may be just practicing more tracks today in speed. And you can see Always they took Bayside Bridge Run. Terracotta Twister is a very surprising one from Always. Maybe they believe in the volatility of that track.
It could be. I mean, if you want to play very aggressively, we saw NUTMITE try to do that against Liiv SANDBOX earlier, and they saw some success. So see if Always has the same idea. But first off, we're going to go to one of the most difficult tracks we have here in the KDL as Kwangdong Freaks takes us to Desert Construction Chaos. The race begins, Kwangdong Freaks in red and Always in blue. We do have World from the Kwangdong Freaks currently holding the record in team mode here on Construction Chaos, right above 2 minutes, so just about 123 seconds. See if any player can beat that today.
You can see Kwangdong Freaks really pulling away with their 1-2, but Ming and Diamond, they do manage to find the thread in the needle there, and they're taking that 2-3, but with Move and Knight all the way in the back, 1-2 the only win condition for Always currently.
I mean, the brutal, honest part about Always is they need Diamond to be at the front first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
And then it's about the other teammates trying to make sure they compete for the midfield. So we'll see. I mean, Mingyu is doing a great job of trying to provide a little bit of that room for Diamond, because in the past, Diamond has had to play very aggressively, and that forced some mistakes on his own. And right now, he's trying to get back into the top 3. And, you know, in this, in the 90-degree turns, a lot of collisions back and forth. However, that's something that Always needs, because if you just play cleanly, Kwangdong Freaks will win.
But it's looking really rough in the frontier. Diamond not anywhere close to Cool and Spear, and you can see World, he's just keeping a lot of pressure on Knight right now, and Kwangdong Freaks just feeling so comfortable.
Yeah, I gotta imagine for Kwangdong Freaks, you're probably so confident that you just say, World, just make sure Knight doesn't get anywhere close, right? And
yeah,
let Diamond do his thing, because he's not getting any drafting anyway. Spear and Cool will just work off of each other and continue to just boost forward. Now Diamond trying to make sure he's cutting all his build as close as possible, but it's not going to be enough yet. Still way out of range for drafting.
Even with Ming and Move trying to build a team booster gauge, it's not enough, just as you said, Will. This is the part of the track where Diamond will be able to start to catch up, so we have to see if he'll be able to get into draft range, but that's a tall task currently.
Yeah, I gotta imagine the only option I see for Diamond right now is if he's able to straight boost and knock out both Spear and Cool here in the 90-degree turns, maybe then you find an opening for the rest of your teams, but they're so far ahead. I mean, you had no option, and Spear and Cool, they didn't even actually slow down that much. They're still playing their own game, trying to set a record here. It does look like it's not gonna be broken. We just enter the 2-minute mark, already past the record that World holds currently, and Spear, Cool, and World will enter 1, 2, and 3, giving a clean win for the Kwangdong Freaks.
Diamond had one chance there, one moment to pull off some sort of comeback, but just like you said, Will, that chance didn't even happen because that's how far ahead Kwangdong Freaks was. And you can see Kwangdong Freaks, this is why this is a team that's undefeated in speed sets right now. They're so good at holding on to their 1-2s.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They play so cleanly once they have the lead, and then all of them can still swap back and forth in terms of taking those hybrid roles, right, of being able to sweep for their teammates. They are still able to play aggressively. It's not like they just play passive time trial mode. They are able to really work off of each other to try to keep that lead. Curious to see if that momentum will continue in the coming rounds of speed mode.
Well, what's good for Always, at least, is that we've seen Ming putting in a lot of fight near that beginning there in order to secure a sizable lead along with Diamond. And it was actually Diamond, in fact, who fell behind early, and he managed to recover, but they need to pull something better than that here in track number 2 to win against a team like Kwangdong Freaks. Let's see if they can pull it off in Village Bayside Bridge Run. And the race begins. We are here now in speed round 2 with Kwangdong Freaks leading 1-0.
Yeah, and Cool just making sure he builds up as much of the gauge as possible for himself and his team. That allows World and Spear to once again take the 1-2, and Sungbin close behind to start providing that support. It's kind of the same layout as we saw in that first track, right? You have the 1-2 for Kwangdong Freaks, one player right behind him to control the midfield, and then Cool's all the way at the back just to make sure that he's able to keep the last place in check. And it's just the top three. I mean, Diamond, he can't find an opening. It has to be a team play here from Always if they want to break the ranks.
Honestly, I feel like we're seeing such a big improvement from Always. However, Ming and Knight making sure to provide some support for Diamond. But the problem is when the sweeping from Kwangdong Freaks kicks in, they're just controlling that top field so well.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that they were so focused on their own route of trying to get into the top ranks that they totally lost track of Cool, and he's able to just come right back, right next to Spear and provide that extra support. Once again, it's two players from Kwangdong Freaks, Sungbin and World this time, who are just way ahead of each other, way ahead of the pack, and they are just playing their own race, focusing on the build itself, and Cool has the monumental task of blocking everyone, and he's doing a pretty darn good job of it.
Yeah, he's done that for a while now. You can see Kwangdong Freaks looking to set a new track record, whereas Always, they need to catch up somehow, Move and Ming. They do have all the space needed, but the distance is just too far. Yeah,
Move just gets the draft off of his teammate. Now Ming trying to work off of his teammate as well. You got to tag team that, but Cool's behind him. He's trying to put the pressure, and now we enter the last sections here as we get around the curves. You got to be able to get on the curb and make sure that you're cutting that last corner, but World and Sungbin doing the exact same move. You don't have much of an option here, and you're not going to be able to catch up. It's going to be another 1-2 finish for the Kwangdong Freaks as they cross the finish line, leading 2-0.
Once again, for Always, there was just one chance near the end there to catch up, but that chance itself was impossible due to the lead that Kwangdong Freaks was able to build throughout the whole entire track. And it feels like Kwangdong Freaks, honestly, they're not looking to drop a single set today in speed.
I don't blame them, right? I mean, they have a reputation to keep intact, and for Kwangdong Freaks, it probably means more to make sure that they win in a sweep rather than just winning speed mode, right? I don't think that's going to be good enough if you're a Kwangdong Freaks player. I don't think, even as a fan, you probably think that's good enough. I think you want them to absolutely dominate because this is a competition between the top seed right now in the regular season in the round robin versus number 7. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Peter, for Always, I mean, some of the other players starting to enter the ranks. That's good news. However, you need a win if you want any sliver of hope to get into the postseason. And right now, you need more than just improvement. You have to enter the top 3.
And Kwangdong Freaks one track win away from winning speed as we now move on to WKC Brazil circuit for track number 3.
The race begins, and all eyes on Always see if they can try to get a lead here in the very beginning of the track. But once again, they are all blocked off. Cool actually just no competition in taking that lead right off the bat. And Sungbin, already, you can just see how zoned in Kwangdong Freaks are because they don't let a single opportunity pass them in terms of sweeping. Look at Spear. Completely body checks 2-3 people around that shortcut. And now the entirety of Kwangdong Freaks out of draft range. Ming just barely catching up right at the edge as that draft comes into play.
That was all Spear right there. One move from Spear and Always is in disarray. You can see Ming, he's trying to catch up, but his teammates are not there for support. We're seeing that same story being told again here. Kwangdong Freaks with such a big lead in 1-2.
Yeah, and just the way that each of these players on Kwangdong Freaks races, right? The way they understand how to block, how the momentum works in this game, who has the advantage of winning out if you get into a situation where you're trying to sweep each other. Just an excellent, excellent understanding from all four. And now Mingyu, he's trying his best, trying to catch up. He's trying to cut as many corners as possible on his build, but it's not going to be enough to try to catch up to Spear.
Just look at the gap right now in the minimap between World and Diamond. We point out Diamond as a star player of Always, and if you see Diamond that far back, it's looking really tough for Always to come back.
Yeah, World, he's just putting pressure on Ming. He's got that draft once again, and Spear slows down to try to get a block on Ming and maybe try to swap places with World now. That's going to give an opportunity for Mingyu. Diamond now catches up off of that as well. A little bit of draft support, but World with the boost, he's able to climb right back forward. Spear with an excellent back and forth sweeping left and right against two racers of Always.
Spear literally just blocked off two players there, just like you pointed out, Will. He's doing a phenomenal job in this track, and you can see the pressure for Always. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, they're doing whatever they can, trying to play aggressively, but this is also a very open field track. The aggression is not going to reward you much, and Kwangdong Freaks, they will have no problem getting a 3-0 clean sweep here in speed mode as they lead 1-0 in this team match.
we can say that went pretty much how we expected, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about our team that's doing the worst in speed right now in the whole KDL against a team that's doing the best. So it was pretty straightforward how speed turned out, but keep in mind that always they came into today with the mindset of winning an item. That's why they won the coin flip, but they chose item priority. So I feel like the game plan here is to give speed, then win an item, and hope for the best in ace match.
Yeah, I gotta imagine if you're on Team Always, you're probably not too shaken up about this result. I mean, yes, it hurts, you know, for any type of player against any opponent. Losing in this fashion is going to hurt, but as you mentioned, Peter, the game plan here for Always was going to be focus on item mode, try to get to that ace match. And, you know, it's fan just saying, you know, let's play it cool and get that 6-0 win record here for the Guangdong Freaks. They're surely on their way to do so.
The funny thing is, Guangdong Freaks, they don't even need that. They don't rely on round differentials to secure their spot in the standings because they are undoubtedly the first place team in the league right now. As we see the item aces come in for Team Always, it's Node in for Ming out.
Yep, Ming's going to be stepping out here, and Node will be focusing on item mode, see if he can bring home a victory. Now, most recently, they had one single track win against Desperado, and that was in item mode, but it's still not a promising look. However, if there's anything for them to bank on, it's the fact that Guangdong Freaks, they have had 2 matches where they lost 0-3 in item mode against both Desperado and Mira and Sejong. So this, if there is a weak point at all for KDF, it's going to be item mode.
That is where they need to win here if you're Always. And you can see with their item priority, they picked up 3 tracks. We're going to Seaplane Base for round 1, followed by Polar Halfpipe and Misty Falls on the side of Always. So we can see a lot of tempo tracks being favored by Always.
It is interesting to me that they would pick that, though, right? I mean, Guangdong Freaks, if they're able to get the lead, they should be able to just constantly kind of cycle through their defensive items, especially on a very long track like World Tour Seaplane Base. However, Seaplane Base is uniquely long, so even if you have the lead, eventually you're going to run out of shields, and hopefully enough attacks will slow you down. I gotta imagine that's what Team Always is banking on. We'll see if it comes to fruition as we get ready for item mode between these 2 teams, kicking off on San Francisco Seaplane Base.
Off we go into item round 1. We are brought here to the Seaplane Base, which is a 3-star difficulty track. And just as you pointed out, Will, this is going to be a long track, so our players have plenty of time to work on their inventory.
Yep, Sungbin, he's going to get slowed down, but he is expertly just maneuvers towards the end to get that double item, had that early siren as well. And for now, it just seems like, you know, we're in lap 1. It is a 3-lapper, a very long track, Sungbin barely making that jump. And everyone's just focusing on, okay, tempo, tempo, tempo. Throw everything you have constantly and see who gets out in front of the chaos. Move now with a double shield. This is that opening that Always is looking for to try to get a lead.
Move definitely has the setup, but what he doesn't have is a backup to absorb all the aggro. So Move is heavily relying on his own shields. Fortunately, he's going to pick up 2 there. And this water bomb is going to catch him off guard.
Yeah, he was trying to make sure he didn't have to use that shield, but he's barely going to get caught near the edge there. Cool, with a bit of body blocking, eventually has to stop as he does get whisked up into the air. Nice banana. Going to spin a couple players out of control, and we now near the end of lap 1.
You can see the gap Sungbin and Spear are starting to build on the mini-map as Move quickly catches up. Sungbin holding on to a double shield. He's going to be able to dodge through those.
Yeah, and we're looking at lap 2 out of 3. We just started it. I want to say, I don't want to see Move hold on to that lightning bolt for too long, right? I want you to try to bring the tempo back for yourself. I know Diamond has the lead, but he's all alone, so if you just allow everyone on Guangdong Freaks to hold on to their offensive items, it's going to be a tough one for him to try to remain in that top spot.
And you can see Spear is getting slowed down by the UFO, but he's holding on to an Angel, so I feel like Spear isn't even trying to stay in the lead. He's just making sure that Always is contested.
Yeah, and Guangdong Freaks, they have their own lightning bolt here as well. Curious to see who's going to take the first action here. It turns into a game of chicken now between the 2 teams, as we do see Diamond still healthily in the lead. He does have a UFO, but he is going to get whisked up. He doesn't want to get whisked up near the jump, so he's just going to avoid the shortcut and make sure he can recycle some of those items.
Diamond didn't get what he needed there, so he is going to lose a lot of momentum now. World is in the lead, and we can see a lot of shields in that front line.
Yeah, Move still holding on to that lightning bolt, so is Sungbin, but I mean, holding on to that near the very end without checking for the Guardian Angels, it's going to be tough because, to their surprise, Spear has 2 Guardian Angels. We haven't seen a scanner come up on either team, so they don't have an exact idea of what's in store yet.
Cool trying to build that lead now. He's got a shield and an EMP, so he has a lot of defensive options here. World, he gets caught out. Now it's Node versus Cool, but Cool has a nice lead for himself.
Yeah, shield and Guardian Angels as well. However, a nitrous boost on Node, and it looks like he's looking for that opportunity to try to jump right past Cool, but is it going to happen? If they're relying on that lightning bolt, it's not going to give them the value they thought they would get.
Cool, he's holding on to an EMP here as well as a shield. Node, he only has a nitrous. He's looking to pass by here. The lightning comes out, but Cool with the fantastic block.
Yeah, but Diamond's still right behind him with another boost as well, so Diamond will be able to go through. Cool actually bumped off the track himself, so now Move and Diamond in the lead and no one near sight on the minimap, and Team Always will be crossing the finish line first, bringing home that first round victory.
It felt like Cool did such a cool move there, but it ended up costing his own line. So Always, they had the better backup. They're able to just simply move forward. And honestly, it felt like it could go either way, but near the end there, Always with the better team position wins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cool imagined that there were 2 more people, you know, with boosts readily available right behind him who would still be able to overtake the rest of his teammates, perhaps relying on a couple of his other teammates' attacks to connect. However, Always 2 players with boost and then another right behind. They had a good setup and they're able to make sure that they survive that bit of a sweep here coming in from Guangdong FREECS is Cool.
Yeah, and it's looking really good for Always. I mean, they won round 1 here in item, and we pointed out that Guangdong FREECS is a team that can go 0-3 in item. This is their weakness, so Always looking to bring us to that ace match.
Yeah, you know, if Guangdong FREECS lose the first round in item mode, they are 50% likely to lose 0-3, okay? That's what the history has shown us, so we'll see if it continues here on Graveyard and Cemetery Circuit. The racers kick off here in round 2 of item mode. Now on the graveyard track. Node actually not getting any items. That hurts. I mean, yeah, it's a 3-lapper, but not a single item to try to catch up and build some tempo. Move once again getting denied as well. This is not a good start here for Team Always.
And Cool actually got bumped right as he made that jump, but he didn't fall off the track, so not a lot of things going in the way for Always here, and you can see Guangdong FREECS really capitalizing off that. They have a sizable lead.
Yeah, and Diamond just taking things slow, saying it's a 3-lapper. Let's just focus on getting those items. Let's build our arsenal back up. Let's build that tempo. However, they're going to have to do a lot of it because World currently Shield and Guardian Angel. The UFO keeps them in check for now, but they're going to need more than that.
And you can see Spear really holding on to that Guardian Angel. He could have used it for himself, but he didn't. So Guangdong FREECS putting a lot of emphasis on World to be that one. And a fantastic water bomb from Spear catches Move off guard.
Yeah, Move. He's going to get blocked off. And another one coming in from the Guangdong FREECS just keeps Team Always right on check. And oh, that's a bit of a team kill, it looks like. A double team kill, but anything to try to keep your opponents in check as well, I guess, coming in from the Guangdong FREECS.
Sungbin got a little confused there as to who his enemies were, and now you can see World, he's able to take that lead once more. Cool and Spear, the leaders for Guangdong FREECS, but Always, they have that 3-4-5, so they'll be able to catch up with some items.
Yeah, and in terms of just targeted attacks here, it's not going to be enough for Always. It looks like you're going to need those magnets and the UFOs if you want to keep the tempo coming back towards yourself. Lots of catches, lots of resets as we try to get out of the crypt once again, nearing the end of lap 2. Just 1 lap left here on Cemetery Circuit.
You can see if not for Cool, Guangdong FREECS is actually quite far behind, so that UFO coming out is going to be huge. Knight, he does have the double shield, and just as I said that, Guangdong FREECS, they recovered beautifully, and now they do have some control up here.
Yeah, World does have that lightning bolt. No Guardian Angel on the other side. Knight is going to use one of his shields to survive it, so he's able to still cross that jump, still keep the tempo. Another shield. However, this means he has no items right now, so he has to wait to get to these next set of pumpkins, and he'll just barely be able to recycle.
Knight gets that support he needs in Diamond, but the water bomb does connect. Now it's up to Diamond to keep this lead. Sungbin, he's got a nitrous, and Cool has a magnet as well.
Yeah, we see the Wisp coming in. The shield is in play for Diamond, but another rocket. Can he get the body block? No, and Sungbin boosts right by him. Sungbin with some excellent calculation. He makes sure he's not getting body blocked near that edge of the corner and then uses his boost for maximum efficiency. A clean win here for the Guangdong Freaks.
Excellently timed Angel near the end as well, giving Sungbin no shot at getting interrupted mid-Nitrous, and it feels like Guangdong Freaks, when they're playing on their own track choice, they definitely know what they're doing, because you said Guangdong Freaks, if they lose the first round in item, that's 50% chance they're GG, but they're coming back now.
Yeah, they're trying to claw their way back in. And quite frankly, I gotta imagine 2 players from Team Always not getting items for, you know, about the first third of lap 1 hurts a lot as well, right? I mean, item mode is all about pressuring each other with the attacks and making sure you can catch up with the Nitrous and just forcing each other to cycle through items at not the optimal timing. Unfortunately for Team Always, it was much more about simply catching up in round 2.
Guangdong Freaks showing that this is not a team you can make small mistakes against. Even small things like missing a couple items in the beginning can snowball into a result like this. So now we are tied 1-1 here for item as we get ready to move to round 3. A track chosen by Always and Glacier Polar Halfpipe. Glacier Polar Halfpipe is a 2-star difficulty track, so we're going to see a lot of emphasis around players holding on to the Nitrous as well as the Magnets, because they really want to utilize that shortcut if possible. Yeah,
and there's great ways to be able to utilize it towards the end as well, right? Right as you go towards that U-turn, there's that small gap and you can kind of slingshot your way back, as we just see a cool chain of water bombs from both teams here, and something barely getting caught right at the edge there as he was trying to boost forward, but not to worry, still a 3-lapper, so a decent amount of time here for both teams.
We're making sure to keep the threat of water bombs alive here already on lap number 1 as we see Spear trying to build a lead, but that barricade actually set him back quite a bit, and now it's up to Cool and Move to fight for top.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where not just the water bombs, but the barricades can have some good value as well, especially towards that U-turn at the end. You're already trying to make sure you keep an optimal line. And then, you know, the barricades, depending on the angle that they're placed, can catch you off guard. We'll see if that comes into play as we see double barricade here for Team Always. They just both use it. Just want to cycle it through right now because you're still in lap 2.
Feels like Guangdong Freaks has such a dominant position here at the moment. They have so many players up at the top, and you can see they're holding on to 2 Angels as well, whereas Always, they got nothing. They only got a Water Bomb and some Nitruses. The item inventory is so much better for Guangdong Freaks right now.
Yeah, Knight, you know, tastes a shortcut early just to try to catch up, but that means he doesn't get that extra item, and he's not gonna have to be caught off guard as we see people getting bumped off the edge there. I mean, this is just nothing going the way of Team Always. Spear, we don't even know where he is. I can barely see his dot on the minimap.
Where is Spear? And Team Always takes a huge water bomb there from Sungbin. Guangdong Freaks making sure to keep that pressure alive, and we can't even see Spear on the minimap.
No, I think he's already passed the jump. Yeah, he just landed off of the jump, so you have to take the shortcut, but Knight's got no items. Diamond's trying to use the magnet, and they're going to boost each other up top. That's barely just some opportunity to try to catch up, but they have no targeting abilities available. The shield coming into play to block that water bomb, but Spear, he still has double shield, another shield coming in, but the UFO, is that going to be enough? He gets slowed down, and now the boost coming in from No. The Guardian Angel is going to keep Spear safe, and the EMP against the UFO allows No to keep the top speed. Wow, that EMP was instant coming in from Team Always to block off the UFO, and it's going to be a Always victory leading to 1.
Great reaction time there from No, just as you pointed out, Will, and the fact that a UFO came out onto Spear near the end there was so crucial. I loved the timings from Team Always in their items. Although they were so far behind and we thought Spear might not be caught up to, they were able to get up on that shortcut and they just played it so calm. So Always, they had a fantastic round 3 here.
Yeah, I mean the shortcut play really saved just enough time for them to catch up. And then they were able to first land the water bomb, make sure that first shield was used, and then just force these items. However, that was also right after the items, right? So Spear wasn't able to actually cycle through for another opportunity at something like an EMP, so not able to defend himself or from his teammates for that UFO. And Always will be getting that victory. Always one step away from taking us to a potential ace match here against the Guangdong Freaks.
It's looking a bit worrisome now for Guangdong Freaks. They wanted to win today in a clean fashion, but they may need to go to ace match if they lose one more round and item to Always as we go to My Mother Low to see if Always can bring us to that ace match.
KWANGDONG FREECS looks to catch back up on this track where we're surely going to see a lot of water bombs in play. Of course, back on a 3-star track, so we see the sirens coming into play right off in the beginning as well.
So many EMPs to start. Sungbin has been holding on to that just because he hasn't been able to cycle just yet, but they're quickly going to get swapped out. And World, he's holding on to a siren here. You can see that he's waiting for the opportunity like that one.
Yeah, and they're just able to really make sure that they break apart some of the members of Team Always. Now, Knight will use whatever abilities he can, the items, just to keep the lead, and that actually buys enough time for Move to try to catch up as well. So no one clearly in the lead just yet, and actually not as many water bombs as you normally like to see on this track for either team.
It certainly hasn't been a trend this time around, as we see the lightning being popped early on from KWANGDONG FREECS to really continue to control the tempo, because if you take a look at the minimap, Cool is really far away and he's got that double shield.
Yeah, I love that early lightning bolt, because now you're putting pressure on Always to try to use all their items right away, and these shields and the potential Guardian Angel as well from KWANGDONG FREECS keeps them safe. Now, they had 3 people up front trying to take aggro. They're not able to keep that in play just yet. The Magnet landing and actually going on the shortcut as well. Node should be able to take the lead. He does, and Lightning Bolt now to try to force the tempo back over to Team Blue on Team Always.
Node is holding on to that lightning, and I feel like he needs to get rid of that soon because he picks up a banana. He's got no defensive capabilities now. He's relying on his team for the Angels.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that comes into play. Ooh, a nice water bomb holds off Knight. Now, we have double Lightning Bolt from Always, so I wonder if they're just saying this is the wombo combo we want to use towards the end, especially because you've got that massive ramp, right? If you slow down your opponents before they enter the ramp, they're going to take so long to try to accelerate to cross the finish line. But we have double Lightning Bolt on World as well, so this is going to be a trade back and forth.
Nice usage of Angel there, but it didn't save Node from the lightning, and now Cool is going to be able to take a lead off that, but Always, they're holding on to double lightnings. One got popped just now, and you can see Cool, he's getting slowed down. Node wants to take over.
Yeah, and the rocket actually baits out that Guardian Angel. Team Always, they saw it through the scanner, but the second Lightning Bolt has to be used right away, and Node, he just keeps getting attacked right up against the wall. Cool was still a little bit far from the ramp, so he keeps up the acceleration, and he should have enough speed to cross the finish line, and he does. KWANGDONG FREECS tying things up 2-2 here in item mode.
The moment Node got targeted by all those items and completely lost control of his line was so devastating for Always, because it felt like they were so much relying on Node there. He was the only one able to actually bring in that first play. So KWANGDONG FREECS with a better read on their opponents this time around.
Yeah, and it seems like once they were able to bait out that Guardian Angel, that's the one they had checked with the scanner, and they wanted to rush their second Lightning Bolt before the items refreshed, right, recycled here for KWANGDONG FREECS. But that meant that Cool was still quite a bit far from the ramp, so he's able to build his acceleration back up as he's entering the beginning of the ramp up, and he gets to top speed, crosses the finish line, and brings KWANGDONG FREECS here to round 5 of item mode.
We saw so many players from Always when they were near the top, they had lightnings, and you can see that doesn't really work out in the tempo-focused track because they couldn't cycle through the defensive items as much. And now we're tied 2-2 here. We're going to that round 5 in item right here in Forest Misty Falls. And off we go into Always choice of track. It is Forest Misty Falls with the 2-star difficulty, as we see KWANGDONG FREECS having not too much items to continue on this lead. We're seeing Spear get a good use of that shield there, and Knight is going to take a big collision.
Yeah, just barely landing onto that shortcut. A nice water bomb there near the end, but that also means Move and Diamond getting caught right behind another one to keep World in check. So Team Always, they seem to have a decent understanding of the tempo play they need on a track like this, a fairly wide open field, right? The track isn't as narrow where you're going to have some edges that you can dodge these water bombs, as we just saw from Sungbin.
The nerves are real for Always right now. They need to win this track no matter what to take us to that ace match. If not, KWANGDONG FREECS, they just win 2 sets in a row and move on with their day. It's not looking good for Always, as we see Sungbin, he's starting to build some lead.
Yeah, Sungbin is way out front. We see World taking a lot of that aggro as well, so Sungbin can continue building that speed. You need those UFOs to come into play. We just saw one pop out, barely recovering, but he's also going to get stopped by double Wisp as well. So Lightning Bolt keeps the tempo a little bit in check, but Sungbin still unable to be seen in terms of ease of targeting, especially as we enter a lot of these hairpins.
And And you can see that Always was out of inventory there. They're going to pick up 1 item each, but that's nowhere enough because Guangdong Freaks has the players to block for Sungbin, and Sungbin still has the double shields. I don't know how they're going to stop him.
You got to get the UFOs, you got to fish for it, you got to go for the double items right now. Always is so focused on trying to just build up speed that they are, all 4 of them are just getting single item refreshes. They need to go for the double items to try to increase their chance of getting the exact item they need, which is going to be a UFO.
Yeah, the UFOs keep coming in, but Sungbin is able to get rid of them back and forth. It's just so hard to catch up right now as Knight, he's going to fall back on that Water Wisp. Now Guangdong Freaks leading so far with Sungbin at the front.
Yeah, and he's got an EMP and a shield as well. Nothing's going to stop this guy. I don't see a way where Team Always can get in. They just don't have any items. They are always running out of inventory as they just get these single refreshes. A shield is not what you wanted to see, and Sungbin, he will be crossing the finish line, waving in celebration as he pops that empty EMP, and it will be a 3-2 item mode victory, which leads to the match victory for the Guangdong Freaks.
Man, the Freaks, we keep talking about them being good, but they continue on their lossless streak here in the KDL regular season. Like, these guys are just on top form. They won against all other professional teams, even the amateur teams. At this point, you have to wonder, who's the kryptonite for Guangdong Freaks?
No one yet, and Guangdong Freaks with this win, I mean, they prove it by saying they lock in first place for sure. All other teams have had 2 or more losses, and Guangdong Freaks, the most they can get now is 1 single loss, so they are locked in for first place in the regular season in the round robin. That means they have secured their place as the upper seed going into the finals of the postseason as well. And you see it right there. They're going to get the red side. They're going to get that priority for the Guangdong Freaks, so congratulations to them. They still have 1 more match left, though, and it's going to be against Seongnam Rocks, but I mean, that's very little pressure now for them as they can already start to prepare for the postseason.
Today was a big day for Guangdong Freaks. Will, they're going to walk home today very satisfied that they are now that secure team in the upper bracket, as you mentioned, and for Always. It's been a rough season for them. They had a phenomenal start, but after losing in Speed 0-3, Item 2-3 against Guangdong Freaks, their hopes of postseason is now dead.
Yeah, Always not going to find that light at the end of the tunnel. However, I mean, I hate to put it this way, but improvement is improvement, right? They showed some nice ideas on a couple of the tracks here in item mode. They were still able to try to push Guangdong Freaks to the end here in item mode. And if it had gone to the ace match, it was still anybody's game. Diamond seems to be a great ace match racer. So Always, they had the potential, but it just wasn't shining enough yet here in the very first season of the KDL.
I'm really glad to see the improvements, like you mentioned, Will, from Always. I feel like I've always just pointed out how it feels like Diamond is the only racer really capable of keeping up with our professional teams. But today, we've seen a completely different form out of Always. Although they went 0-3 in speed, I feel like we've seen so much more team cohesion as now we take a look at the standings. Always now, they're kind of locked into that 7th place for the time being, and Guangdong Freaks, they solidify that 1st place standing.
Yeah, and Always their last remaining match actually will be against Finale Esports, who have won a lot more rounds, but they haven't been able to get that elusive match win yet, so that's going to be an interesting one to see who is able to redeem themselves from the very bottom of the standings. But of course, near the top, Freaks locked into the finals on red side, so they can rest assured and prepare, have a little bit of extra time to prepare for the postseason and keep an eye on who's going to be the one that potentially challenges them at the end of the season.
You know, I always feel like we looked at Liiv SANDBOX to be the team that can really match Guangdong Freaks and Cartrider, but it has fallen off this year. Guangdong Freaks has shown that they are clearly the better team than Liiv SANDBOX. They won preseason 1 and preseason 2. And we finally saw Mira and Sejong come in. They won the event match against both Liiv SANDBOX and Guangdong Freaks, but that win, not yesterday, but earlier this week from Guangdong Freaks against Mira and Sejong just puts them so firmly in that top spot right now.
Yeah, and so during the round robin, I think we continue to see, okay, there's a reason that Guangdong Freaks dominated the preseason. They continue to be the Titans of KDL. However, we're not near the end yet, right? We still have a little ways to go, so it's still anybody's game. Of course, the very first official season of KDL is where we're at, and who lifts the trophy at the end remains to be seen. That's it for the team matches for tonight, but as you can see on the bottom of your screens, we do have the solo match, redemption match coming up. Who will be the 4 extra racers that enter the round of 16? We find out right after this break.
I gotta cool down, 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 cool down. I gotta cool down, 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 cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. Pass me the fan, I gotta cool down. Hold on a minute, let me fix my crown. We the best here, yeah, there's no doubt. Wanna know how I do it? Let me break it down. Keep it moving to the top. Push it, never stop. Make it time, make it pop. Hustle till you drop. Keep it moving to the top. Push it, never stop. Make it time, make it pop. Hustle till you drop. I gotta cool down, cool down, cool down, cool down, cool down, cool down. I gotta cool down, 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 cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm
필요하겠습니다.
아니 소리 똑같았어.
상에서 말해주라. 잘안 되지.
마이크 끄지 마. 가까이 마. 가까이 했어.
입에 넣어봐 된다.
와.
장난치는 되지 마.
뭐야?
다운대로 해야 될 듯.
레슨.
파이팅.
파이팅.
병마 형은 단신들이 많이 선호하거든요. 이 부분 어떻게 뚫고 올라갈지 봐야 되겠습니다.
먼저 갈게.
약간 죽었다. 앞뒤 앞뒤.
나갈게. 죽였어.
과감한 다이아몬드.
이런 패기가 진짜 좋아요.
살짝 터졌어 여기.
밀었어.
하나 나이스.
나이스.
죽여놨어 한 명.
나이스. 1등 해. 지금 1등 잡아? 이네만 커버 쳐주라.
이 3사만 먹으면 되는 건데 이거 원래 이제 약간만 더 하면 기회를 얻을 수 있는데 리브 샌드박스 아직 허용 안 해요.
1등 잡으면 좋다 이거.
작업 조심해요.
나 뒤에 붙어 있어가지고. 알았다. 나 뒤에 붙어 있어가지고 잡으면 좋다.
아빠가 보고 있어.
그러면서 같이 합류되고
터졌어 뒤.
오케이 나이스.
이겼어. 하. 직구가
1고야 1고. 1고야.
1등만 해 진짜로.
일싸움 끝까지.
올레이스 라운드 먹습니다.
나이스. 서진이 굿잡. 서진이 잘 먹였고.
나이스. 미스터 거의 유지 안 됐어요?
유지 됐어. 근데 때부터 속도가 너무 빨랐어. 내 실수. 소리.
까비. 줘야 되더라.
원래 이제 나머지 선수들의 파이팅 필요한데 벌써 멀리 가고 있어요 리브 샌드박스.
밀어. 나이스. 가봐. 아직. 하나 죽여. 뽑았다 하나. 지금 한 스탑 한 번. 오케이.
이거 현수가 뒤로 누르면 뒤쪽에서 지민이 다시 공격하고 계속 하는데
나왔어 현수.
나 빨았어. 오른쪽.
한 번만. 그냥 가볼래? 그래 한 번 더 가봐.
다이아몬드를 완전 그래서 연마하고 있네요. 이렇게 깎고 저렇게 깎고 막 난리가 났어요.
가봐.
또 원주에게까지 접근하는 모습을 보여주고 싶었던 것 같은데 쉽지가 않습니다.
들어갔다. 그냥 갈게. 앞에 있어.
앞뒤.
야, 라인도 현수가
이렇게 맞고
터져라.
와.
이러면 문제 없습니다. 이거는 완벽한 경기.
나이스. 슈퍼에서 빠는 팡. 슈퍼에서 팡. 야들. 껍질. 야들이 껍질해 조용히 형.
뭐라는 거야?
그거 몰라? 빡빡이 아저씨. 슈퍼에서 빵.
몰라.
이걸 모른다.
문진.
세대 차이야? 어디 건데?
어디 건데 이러고 있는.
난 문화를 조금 벗어난 거 아닐까?
알았어 얘들아.
서세를 거스르는.
알았어 그만 가 이거.
슈퍼에서 빵.
강동이와 포스트시는 어느 정도 가는 팀이긴 하지만 그래도 굉장히 기분 좋은 승리가 될 수 있겠죠.
상대야 물 버릴게.
버려.
지금 나 미사일 하나 잡히고.
팔에 까였어. 나 맞았어. 그냥.
잘했어. 우리 뚫을 때 물 조심. 꼴찌 소장.
1등 맞아요.
나 팔이.
꼴찌 물 안 볼게. 물 걸을 때.
물가 2등. 한번 안 맞아볼 때.
하게. 청소 남았어.
나 팔이 1등 아프게 쏠게.
근데 이제 불안한 게 공팀을 맞았을 때의 상황을 봐야 되기 때문에
발이 버려도 되면 말죠. 잠깐만. 버렸어.
200까지.
나 사이렌 돌았다. 천천히 갈게.
그걸다 이거.
1매 쏴줄게.
1등 죽였어.
1매.
발이 있어 여기. 먹은 바로. 가.
팔이 봐.
1매 돌아.
괜찮아. 1등 지원
1등
끝까지.
쏴줄게. 물가.
1미 맞았거든?
나 갈게.
서로 타이밍
홈부스터
뛰어자서
피어스트가 넘어갑니다.
이겼어?
나이스.
나이스 한 나왔다.
나이스 막 쏴서.
정말 몇 개 없이 가는 상황이기 때문에
잡는다.
어디?
나이스 물. 1등 물 하나.
나 아파.
오케이.
발이 있어.
깔아봐. 둘 다 깔아봐.
이는 미사일 맞았어. 죽였어. 팔이?
나이스.
뒤에 와야 돼.
네.
버리 셋.
2등 물 칠게. 사이드. 지금. 하나 잡아라.
나 올라갈게.
가도 돼.
가도 돼.
해지 마. 내가 얘기하면 해줘.
이거 가드와 스트라이커가 맨 마지막에 속도를 뛸 생각이에요. 속도로.
모두 선.
미래야 죽었어. 놔줘. 그냥 가야 돼.
그냥 가.
자스라이커부터 먼저 썼고 하나 더 쓰면
뒤쪽에
간다는데
가드가 기다리고 있어.
야 라인드.
다음에 보자.
아깝다.
와 나이스.
나이스.
이겼다.
나 상대 천사 들어가기도 설마 물 떨어지나 하고 아 제발 물 떨어지 마라 소리. 나이스 잡.
손만 추워짐. 수속 냉증 해버려.
이변 김의지
야이.
지금 좋습니다. 의지가 이병 되려면 얼마나 나온 거야? 3년. 와.
세팅 종료하겠습니다.
소리 똑같았어.
세팅 종료하겠습니다.
세팅 종료할게요.
어떻게든 미리 막아보려고 했는데 지금 종이권이 미들이 뚫린 상황이라서 쉽지 않을 거예요.
제대로 막으면 이러면 쭉 달려나가면서 그대로 원토 세게 들어오네요.
혜원아, 형 믿고 지금 딱 한 번만 정신 차리자. 괜찮아. 괜찮아. 스피드 다 잊어 지금. 의지야, 형 믿지? 정신 차려 지금. 지금 정신 안 차리면은 흐름 그냥 그대로 일어난다. 흐름 한번 끊자.
얘들아 살짝 할 거면 끝나고 도착해.
그러니까.
끝나고.
괜찮아.
괜찮을까?
그럼 형 해결 준비해.
바로 차도 드릴게 그냥 차도. 바로 차도 골랐다.
1대 구간이 매번 핵심이 될 수밖에 없잖아요. 여기서 방패으로 얼마큼 잘 가져가느냐도 중요해집니다.
앞에 잡아놔 볼게. 1번 물제고. 사이드. 불 잡았어.
우주 있어.
우주 맞아. 우주 들어갔네. 나 미사일. 너가 안 봐.
1등 내가 걸어줄게, 지현아.
나 직선 코너로 칠 거야. 코너 쳤어. 하나 쳤어. 들어갔다. 머리는
나 왼쪽 안 돼. 하나 빨고 해제했어 바로.
젠다 사이드. 사이드 할게. 다리 깔게.
3등 돌릴게.
다리 맞았다 일단. 파리. 괜찮아. 의지부터 해. 사이드 인포.
나 먼저 할게.
사이드 돌렸어. 일단 켤게. 니는 돌렸어. 쏘리.
괜찮아. 1파 있어, 1파.
미사일 먼저. 끝까지. 1등이죠. 2렙이야. 1등 떨어졌다.
1등 떨어져.
1렙이야 1렙. 오케이.
정신 차려.
우주.
일 입장에서는 천사도 있고 앞쪽에서 갈 테니까 이쪽에 공템 지원 좀 왔으면 좋겠는데 그 부분이 안 되거든요.
내가 갈게. 내가 맞아줄게.
3등 수상.
미사일 수상화돼.
재는 거 없다, 재는 거 없어.
가져갔어. 나부터 할게.
하나 빨고 와.
알았어. 뒤 빨고 간다. 얘 템 없어. 야 나부터 한다 했잖아.
쏘리.
해지 생겨줘. 이제 빨리 말이야.
내용 자체가 사랑할 수밖에 없는 양 팀의 경기였습니다. 특히 아이템전이요.
자 이제 애결로 넘어가는데 너트마이트는 말씀드린 것 같이 이번 시즌 첫 번째 애결입니다.
이 에이스 결정전에서의 한 방이거든요. 정말 중요한 매치가 됐습니다.
두 번째 랩도 이런 비슷한 상황이라면 방금 전에 드랩이 한번 걸렸죠.
이 정도는 근데 팀 입장에서 괜찮아요. 이 정도는 드랩 받으러 갈 수 있거든요. 이거는 상대에게 앞포션 안 준다는 것 같고요. 이거는 드랩 받고 점프가 과감하게 될 건데.
이렇게 부딪히네요. 1위 갑니다. 너트마이트 갑니다. 이렇게 승리가 왔습니다. 위입니다.
첫 번째 에이스 결정전이었음에도 불구하고 그 어떤 베테랑들보다 멋지게 소화를 해내네요.
Come direct if you come to my check. If my name in your mouth, better add your respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is to throw. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone. Throw it off in my brain and I'm back to the bone.
Welcome back, everyone. We return with more KDL tonight. As we continue the weekend, we are now awaiting the last part of the round of 32 here for the solo matches.
We are excited to have our redemption match. It hasn't been here in the previous preseason, so this is the first time we're actually having it in 2023. And it's a great thing for the players because previously they would have just been done, but now they have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. So just to remind everyone how this works, of course, we're in the round of 32, and usually you would have 4 players from each of the group to move on to the round of 16. However, to give more players a shot at getting to the round of 16, we only sent 3 players from each group to the round of 16, and now the 4th and 5th place from groups A through D will compete one last time to pick out 4 last players to join the round of 16.
They are fighting to join that round of 16, just like you said, Will. And of course, our solo match schedules continue on as November continues, and we can take a look at the best records. And there's a lot of Liiv SANDBOX jerseys here.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them, a couple repeats as well. Of course, Cool marking his name here on the track records. But you'll notice that most of the players are going to be the ones that have already moved on to the round of 16, secured their spot, and notably so, because if they're setting the records amongst a lot of these other racers on even just a couple of these tracks, that means they got first place at least a couple times, and then they are able to secure enough points to get to the round of 16. So now these are the numbers you're kind of shooting for here in the redemption match to make sure you can also join the ranks of some of these star players on these record teams. And we take a look at who awaits in the round of 16. You see match 1 and match 2. Those are groups A and B of round of 16 waiting. You see the 4 spots T, B, D. That will be decided in the first row of players.
And you can see the roster for the redemption match that we're having right now. You can see DDING, Squad, Hero, Striker, and some other players there. And it's honestly looking like it is going to be a contested group. Players like DDING and Hero, I'm sure they'll be gunning for that, the 3 first place in a row and try to end early on. And that's like the main thing for me to look out for today.
Yeah, I mean, especially Hero, right? He's someone who had a lot of expectations behind him for all time. Obviously, he was a Royal Roader when he first debuted in Kart Rider League. See if he can try to continue that success here today. And we noticed a couple interesting things about the round of 16 groups as well, but we'll have a chance to review that at the end of the day. Right now, it is time to introduce our racers for the redemption match of the round of 32.
Here we have our yellow racer, DDING, and he wants to get that 3 in a row first places that we mentioned. And if anyone can do it, DDING is surely one of those players.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has the potential. He's shown that he's meant to be a rising star. Now, unfortunately, we haven't seen the same success. In fact, he actually just recently lost the ace match against one of the other competitors here in the redemption match today. So we'll see if DDING can get his own redemption in the round of 32.
And Squad is a player that we're not too used to because he's not part of any teams at the moment in KDL, but he's done a great job making it to the redemption match, and he prefers to be in the round of 16 match 1, which also DDING hoped for, and that surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, we were taking a look at match 1, and you saw it earlier. I mean, they have some record winners there in match 1, right, in that group A. Hero saying the same thing. If I'm not mistaken, that's the group, with players like Neil and Cool and World, all these dominant players, especially a couple of the ones that were dominating the preseason. So very interesting that a lot of these players would prefer to get into that first group here.
And Striker, he's done phenomenal this season. I feel like this is the time of the year where Strikers shine the most, and he's the only player so far actually preferring to be in that round of 16 match 2, and our top 2 players are going to first get to decide which match they want to be a part of in that round of 16, 1 or 2, which is why our players are just kind of sneak peeking what they prefer.
Yeah, and a couple of our Kwangdong FREECS players watching to see how this gets decided. A little embarrassed that they were caught on camera. And now we're taking a look at Skald, and just trying to say, hey, this is going to be a team match, right? Like, we're going to be able to move on together. Of course, both part of Team NUTMITE.
Certainly, we want to see both players make it. That would be nice for some story, but Will here is another contender looking to make it up to the top, saying, Skald, you owe me a dinner if I make it up, or if I don't.
Yeah, all right. So a little bit of a challenge here amongst the teammates. We'll see how they do. Of course, ideally, you want to see both of your teammates be able to move on together. Now, Will recently beat DDING in the ace match as well. So see if he's able to show that same power here in the round of 32 redemption.
And Hong, another contender, he is fighting for finale, a team that hasn't found great success this season, but solos is a completely different ground for Hong to have a great run for himself.
Yeah, so we are waiting our last racer, and it is going to be WooJun. And of just saying, you know, let's do it for Jutsi as well. So we've got a couple racers, actually, quite a few from Finale. Of course, 3 of them now waiting to try to enter the round of 16, see if they can fill up that roster in the round of 16 and keep that team brand alive here in the solo matches of our very first official KDL.
And we finished introducing our players for the solos, and as you can see, it is a pretty tightly packed group. We can certainly see players like DDING and Hero gunning for that 3 in a row first places, but the rest of the roster is also very well balanced.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, but all eyes on players like DDING and Hero. Can they get the lead early on? Will we see the 3 first places in a row? We find out as we enter Glacier Extreme Stadium. And the race begins. Redemption match of round of 32 of the very first KDL. The top 4 will move on to the round of 16, and the bottom 4 will kiss this season goodbye.
You don't want to be the one to kiss that season goodbye. It's looking rough for DDING. He has a very rough start. He is far behind even Squad in 7th place. As you can see, the top 3 start to break away.
Yeah, Hero was in the middle of the pack, but everyone was still close together that he's going to feel comfortable that he can be able to catch up, just looking for an opening. Now, you got to remember, it's a free-for-all, right? So you have to worry about other members, other opponents trying to pressure you from behind as well. No one is in it to try to help each other. Everyone in it on their own. Hero trying to play it safe for the first lap.
Yeah, it makes sweeping such a high-risk play, and you never want to go for that, but Hero, he's able to do some sweeping while keeping his line. That is the ideal way to do it here in the solos.
Yeah, he actually just finds a great opening where he's going to get bumped forward by Hong, and Hong takes a bit of a risky wide turn, and it's going to go a little bit too far. He's going to fall all the way back to 7th place, see if he can recover, and amidst all that chaos, DDING was able to catch up during the hairpins, and he's now back in 1st place. DDING and Hero, these are the 2 racers that we're keeping our eye on.
DDING's done such a great job with catching up, just as you mentioned, Will. Now you can see those 2 players exactly fighting for that 1st place spot, and DDING is kind of behind on the booster gauge, it seems, so I'm sure Hero will catch up soon.
Yeah, exactly. I was keeping my eye on the same thing, and Hero, he's going to take advantage of maintaining that top speed for just a bit longer to be able to get the lead. We enter the very last section of the hairpins. DDING starting to put the pressure onto Hero, but can he get the draft? No, and they're going to have to wait until the last jump.
Oh, there's an attempt from DDING to overtake, but Hero was able to defend that beautifully. Now DDING going for a Hail Mary right now, a different line from Hero here, and it seems like DDING might be in the lead.
Oh, Hero was trying to look to cut him across, but he actually lost too much speed off of the jump. Hero falls all the way back down to 5th place. Meanwhile, DDING able to retain that 1st place, and he will be able to select track number 2.
Well, it was the 2 players that we expected coming in at the end, although Hero did fall short because he was trying to stop DDING, as you mentioned, Will. He got 5th place off that, so now DDING is that player to watch out for here.
All right, DDING, can he get the 3 in a row? He said in his bio that that's his goal for the day. We'll see if it continues, as we currently have DDING, Striker, WooJun, and Hong in the top 4. Hero close behind, finishing in 5th place. A bit of a rough fallback at the very end. Striker, you know, playing it somewhat safe. Not a racer we mentioned much because he was just racing his own build, trying to avoid a lot of these collisions, a lot of the sweeping. Curious to see what DDING's selection will be in round 2. How does he plan to try to get the 3-peat and make this an early night for all the racers?
DDING, I think we're having an angry DDING performing here today. He's been struggling in the ace matches, but in solo matches, he has a great start. He's chosen Village Boom Hill Tunnel for our 2nd track of solos. This is round 2 of our redemption match. We're in DDING's choice of track, and we can see DDING does fall behind a bit because there's such a large pack in front of him.
Yeah, but we saw him fall back earlier in Extreme Stadium, and he found a great opening in the first lap at the end towards the hairpin. So it looks like DDING, he's just looking for that opportune moment. He finds a good one here in the tunnel, and as we enter the middle section of the track, he's going to try to keep up in the podium rankings. Now, DDING, you can just tell he's trying to play safe. He doesn't want to ping pong back and forth. He wants to be able to maintain his speed and his build and just find that little opening where he can thread the needle.
Just like you're saying, Will, you can see DDING really focusing just on his his line there, not caring about what's happening around him. As long as Ding doesn't get collided into like that, now he does, so he's going to fall behind.
Yeah, and this is a tough one. This is a tough track to do that on. The track is so narrow for the entirety of this middle section that it's very hard to make your own build work with all these opponents. Hero, meanwhile, able to shoot forward into first place. Can he keep it as we near the shortcut? Hong is actually, what an incredible spin turn. Tries to cut off Hero, but he does lose speed near the end, and a bunch of collisions on that shortcut.
It's only Hero right now without a single mistake, and Hero is looking to stop Ding from getting that second first place finish, and Hero is going to make that play happen.
And Ding, he was trying to at least get into second place, but Skald plays just as aggressively, cuts him out, and it's going to be Hero, Skald, Ding, and Striker in the top 4 positions at track 2.
You can see Hero's really happy about that win there. It would have been scary for sure if Ding was able to get that first place, and he was so close to it, picking up that third place in the end, like you mentioned, Will. So he is still going to lead in terms of overall score.
Yeah, we'll have to see, though. It gets pretty close. WooJun picking up a fair number of points as well in 5th place. Meanwhile, Hong, Will, and Squad, not much of a change there for their own points here. Wilk still at -1, not able to get into the positive point range just yet.
You can see the bottom is really struggling right now. Only the top 4 is going to make it out of today. Now, no longer the top 5, right? So there's a lot more pressure to be able to keep up, and the lead in 1-2 is really huge right now.
Ding just, it seems like he's saying, okay, reset, I'll get that first place again. Meanwhile, Hero just happy to get first place, get those points again, and it's already selection done from Hero. He wants to take us to another tough one here as we get ready for World Tour Terracotta Twister. Hero and Ding currently leading the pack in points, but it's going to be Striker and WooJun close behind as well. Here's to see, Hero, can he make the three-peat happen? And Ding, is he going to have a chance at redemption?
You got to keep in mind that tempo is incredibly important here. And speaking of tempo, Ding with that collision, he is going to be far behind now.
Yeah, that's a pretty costly one. It looked like he felt the need to try to catch up to Hero and Striker way up front, and he's trying to cut that corner a little too close. Meanwhile, Hero and Striker pretty much a 1v1. Will currently at -1 points, right? He wasn't able to escape the bottom of the scoreboard just yet, so he's trying to make way to just get enough points to try to catch up, enter the top 4.
And I love that Hero is keeping Striker's line in check. Now Will is able to come up forward off of Hero blocking Striker back, and now it seems like 2nd and 3rd is in contention, but Hero, there's no draft range from Will at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is currently a battle between Will and Striker, and quite frankly, for Hero's sake, he might not mind Will competing with Striker right now. If he can get 2 first places in a row, he is 1 track away of trying to close things out.
That is the game plan for Hero right now. As Striker, he begins to move forward, but Hero is doing an excellent job of making sure this lead is not closed.
Yeah, Striker's barely trying to get into range of that draft, but still just an inch short here. The boost is going to allow him to catch up as we near the tubes, but of course, getting that...
Oh, Striker!
Plays a little too aggressively. Striker just blocks him out, clotheslines him into the corner. Now Striker entering the corner. Hero does make it a bit of a mistake, but he's able to recover for the time being. However, this puts Striker in draft range. He's able to catch up. He will have one more opportunity as we enter the last section. The draft fills up off the jump as well. Striker with the boost. He's trying to use the momentum. Can he catch up? The top speed, it's getting there, but Hero just going for the body blocks. He's trying to make sure Striker cannot pass him. Hero now with 2 in a row.
Striker was looking so great there. It looked like he might be able to catch up to Hero, but Hero was able to hold on. The lead that he developed earlier on really paying off near the end there, and now round 2 and round 3 were won by Hero. He's only 1 track win away from ending it.
Oh boy, and this was a pretty dominant win too, right? I mean, he started off in first place, kept it all the way through the entire track. Curious to see what his next selection will be. It's going to be an important one. If he can get first place, he will get that 3-peat. And as we've had that rule change this season, if you win first place 3 times in a row, the race ends no matter the point total. Normally, you'd have to get to 50 points total, but right now, the 3-peat very close, and it's in Hero's hands as he gets to select the next track.
And the top 4 is also having a pretty sizable lead right now. It's Hero, Striker, DDING, and Skald up there. They're all above 10 points. WooJun is in 5th place with 8 points right now. So if Hero doesn't get that first place, the standings are also going to matter as now we get ready to bring you guys round 4 of solos. And it's going to be WKC Mexico Touring Rally selected by Hero himself.
Looks like we're getting the track ready, so we'll have to wait just a bit, but no worries. We're usually able to get the track set up right away. Looks like the racers are always just waiting for the sign to get going. Just looks like it's going to be a quick reset as far as I can tell, but we'll update you guys if we hear anything further. Meanwhile, just to refresh everyone, Hero, as Peter mentioned, currently still in first place with the 23 points, but also only 1 track away from the three-peat. Meanwhile, Striker, slow and steady, does the job, sitting at 2nd place with 18 points. DDING still close behind thanks to the very early start he had at 16 points. So he's still, somewhat safe in range of that top 4.
It's certainly safe right now, but the point gap also isn't huge enough where Striker and DDING, if they screw up and get into 7th or 8th, they could still get caught up to, because we're very early on into the solos. We've only played 3 tracks so far, so I'm not surprised to see this group being this close, because I feel like, as I mentioned earlier on, it is a pretty well-balanced group for solos.
Yeah, we've got some former opponents, just saying that you should be able to move on if you've taken me down as well. So lots of players, lots of friends, lots of family as well, it seemed early on, that we saw in the crowd cheering for this redemption match. I mean, 1 extra chance to enter the round of 16. It's going to mean a lot for some of these players to just have that 1 extra chance, because if you go to the round of 16, we go into that double elimination format. So you have 1 extra chance there as well to try to eke your way into the final 8.
And it also really matters whether you finish in the top 2 or the bottom 2, because the rank 1 and 2 of the whole entire day is going to get to first choose which group they enter in the round of 16 match. And given that it is quite a different group of players, selecting your group can significantly increase your chance of being able to perform. Yeah,
and we can talk about that just a little bit, right? A lot of these players saying they prefer to go to match 1, but that's where we're seeing a couple of these previous champions sitting. So I'm curious if it's just a matter of, hey, I just want to get in there and prove myself, or if they actually think stylistically it's a better matchup. We'll have to wait to find out, as we are now getting ready once again. It's going to be round 4 WKC Mexico Touring Rally here in the redemption match of the solos.
And off we go into the round 4 of redemption match. Hero looking for that 3-peat here, but he hasn't been able to find the best start yet. So we're seeing a lot of pressure the players are applying to make sure that Hero doesn't get that 3-peat.
Yeah, I mean, this becomes a mind game all of its own right now, especially for racers like WooJun, who would, if he's able to get into the podium, he should be able to get enough points to try to get back into the top 4. However, if it ends right now with Hero getting first place, WooJun would be in a lot of trouble of potentially getting eliminated.
We're seeing a lot of aggression here from Hero to try to catch up back to the front, but it's been really hard because DDING, Striker, and Will, these 3 players are the catapult of the top right now. They're not letting go of this lead.
Yeah, but Hong and Hero, they find an opening with that boost around the corner, and now all 5 racers close to each other. We still see, in fact, everyone bunched up. You can see on the minimap, even all the way back down to 7th and 8th place, everyone close by. All eyes on Hero, though. Can he make the 3-peat happen? DDING is saying, no, we can't let you do that. If anyone's doing it, it's got to be me.
And you can see now Striker and WooJun and Hong also making it to the pack to make sure that Hero is kept behind. There's quite a tall task right now for Hero. He hits the wall a bit there as well, and now he's 7th place.
Yeah, he gets knocked back by Squad as well, who's able to now try to contend for top 4. DDING now a bit more steady in first place. Striker, I feel like just the way he's been playing, he's happy to just get a podium finish, right? Just get enough points to move on to the round of 16. And DDING with a great block as we enter the last 300 meters to straightaway. And DDING should keep the top speed, entering in first place. Will right behind WooJun and Striker in 3rd and 4th.
DDING with his 2nd first place of the solos. That is going to give him 10 much needed points. And that is going to be 26 points in the bag now for DDING. And Hero, it seemed like he wasn't able to recover, so this is going to be really close in the standings.
Yeah, I think they might be tied. Hero's still able to recover, stabilize at 5th place. So getting, just a couple more points, 3 points in fact. So they should be tied at 26. So all eyes still between DDING and Hero. However, this is great news for Will, who was able to get a 2nd place and now get 7 extra points, just close enough to try to enter the top 4.
WooJun certainly fighting for his life to stay in top 4. It's not looking easy there. He's only 3 points ahead of the player in 6th place right now. So a lot of contention for that final ticket in that 4th place.
Yeah, Skald sitting at 10 points as well. Lost a point on this one as he enters in 8th place. But Skald and Will, they're eyeing WooJun as we see on the screen right now. Can they try to knock him out of the standings? Well, DDING is going to take us to a track he's always enjoyed racing on. It's going to be round 5 here in the redemption match of the round of 32. It's mine, Winding Slopes. And the race begins. DDING, of course, the 3-peat has reset. So he need to get 2 more. If he does, he'd still be able to finish before the 50-point mark. But right now we're already halfway up to the 50 points. And DDING, that's a rough start. This is a single lapper. Right now, more eyes on Striker and Hero. And WooJun, he feels the pressure. He feels other of these kind of newer racers trying to catch up to him. He wants to get more points.
You can definitely see our players start to perform much better here in the Winding Slopes as Striker. He seems to be winning out against Hero on the lines for now. And Hero, he does take some collisions there, so that's even more room for Striker, but a great line from Hero to catch back up.
Yeah, I mean, Hero, he was trying to use the draft just to his advantage, but Striker's playing a lot safer. As I say, then a bit of a bump. It actually works out in favor of Striker. Good recovery. Cutting a lot of these corners close. WooJun still keeping a pretty safe 3rd place. However, Skald, he's caught up quite a bit as well, and DDING out of nowhere now trying to enter for contention. As we near their hairpins, if there are any collisions, DDING could find a good opening to enter in 1st place.
That's what DDING is looking for right now between Hero and Striker. Here comes the spins, and Striker wins out of that one hugely, and now it's Striker in the lead, looking for that 1st place.
Yeah, Hero trying to cut closer off of the draft, and he finds a perfect opening. Striker's going to enter in 2nd place. Hero regaining that 1st seed as he gets to select the next track for round 6.
And that's 10 points in the bag now for Hero. That puts him at 36 points. I mean, Hero, he's got 3 first-place finishes right now, so it feels like even if he doesn't get the 3-peat, he might be the first to just win through points.
Yeah, I mean, he's feeling fairly safe. And if anything, with 36 points right now, Hero should feel fairly safe getting at least top 4, right? So making the round of 16 perhaps not as nerve-wracking yet, but of course you want to get into that first 2, as you mentioned, Peter, to get that selection of group.
And WooJun is able to defend his 4th place spot, but now he did build a bigger lead, so that's good news for him, but he's 4 points ahead of our 5th place player, so it is a lot of pressure still on the shoulder for WooJun.
Yeah, WooJun, he's not in the safe zone just yet, but the good news for some of these racers is that the 3-peat seems to be somewhat out of the question now for a lot of these racers. So it's just a matter of points, right? You've got at least 2 more tracks that you can try to get a couple more points on. Hero's going to take us to one of those next ones. It's going to be Mine Gold Rush.
The race kicks off in Hero's 3rd selection of the solos. It is here in the Mine Gold Rush. As we see, Hero, he's not off to the best start, but he does have at least a lot of points, so he must feel safe.
Yeah, perhaps just, again, waiting for some of those mistakes to happen. He's going to find a good opening, actually, cutting from the outer to the inside line right around the first corners. And he's actually finding a great opening next to Will. Will not able to maintain his line there to try to block out Hero. So Will just playing purely speed right now, whereas Hero, he is finding these openings, the small mistakes in the maneuvers of his opponents.
Hero's lines are as smooth as butter, but Striker, he's also doing a great job keeping up the lead, and you can see it's really consolidating down to these 3 in the front at the moment.
Yeah, Striker, I love the bio he had for Redemption Match today, right? He said, Striker hits different when it comes to a Redemption Match, and so far it's been looking pretty solid. He's had a very steady line of points, tied at 2nd place with 29 right now. See if that can continue. Ding trying to break away from that tie with 29 himself.
And it's surprising to see Squad up in that first place right now because overall in the standings, he is quite far behind, but if he can get a first place finish, that is one of the many steps he would need to get into top 4.
And we gotta remember, right, if someone like Squad all the way at the bottom of the scoreboard is able to get a 3-peat now, he can suddenly end the race without getting to 50 points. I mean, it's anybody's game.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly could happen. As we see now, Hero regaining the lead, looking for that 3-peat himself. And you see a beautiful line coming out of Will and Squad. Squad's going to take some collisions there, so now it's Will firmly in the lead.
Yeah, that's where you see a bit of that experience coming into play for Will, but can he protect it from Ding? He knows everyone's trying to take the inside line, but Striker takes that opportunity, goes around the outside, and no, he cannot maintain the top speed. Will be getting 10 points to his name, boosting him all the way up to 21.
Will is applying a lot of pressure on WooJun here. WooJun came in 5th place, so he managed to get only 3 points for himself. So WooJun's actually going to be tied now with Will for that 4th place.
Yeah, 21-point tie. I mean, this is a huge jump for Will. We got to remember, he started at 8th and then 7th place for the first 2 tracks. He was sitting at -1 for 2 rounds in a row, and now he's able to boost back up towards 4th place. Can he make it to the round of 16?
This is an incredible moment right now for Will, and he is the only player of solos today that managed to get 1st place outside of Ding and Hero. You know, they've been getting back-to-back 1st places, but now this is where the momentum shifts.
All right, I mean, this is kind of the revenge here of some of the younger players. Will trying to prove that they're not out of the race yet. Striker saying, man, this guy right next to me, Will, all right, he's something. All right, giving him a little bit of respect, perhaps. But that does put a little bit of pressure on some of these more veteran players. And Will, he's going to take us to another long track, another difficult one. It's going to be Glacier Snowbound Slopes for round 7. The race continues in round 7 here in the redemption match of the round of 32. Will tied at 21 with WooJun. That's going to be the big highlight for this one. However, we should also note, if Hero gets 1st place, the race ends with 50 points.
Yep, he just needs that 1st place, so we can see Hero gunning for that, but unfortunately he hasn't found the best start. It's Hong and Will having a great start. I mean, if Will can get 1st place here, that's the beginning of that 3-peat you were mentioning, Will.
Yeah, I mean, it's very likely. You know, you just got to get it 3 times. You know, make it sound simple. But right now, Ding just trying to make sure he doesn't let Hero get that very first selection of their choice. Of course, we got to remind you, they get to select which group in the round of 16 they will be entering in order of their finish here in the redemption match. Ding trying to make sure he gets 1st pick.
Ding is another scary player to have in the front right now because he has 33 points, and if he gets 1st place, that would put him at 43. So Ding is really looking to apply some of that pressure, and I gotta say, Will has been doing a great job keeping up in 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, Will, you could just race a bit safer and try to overtake at the end, but Will says, no, I want to make sure I keep the momentum. He's going to be able to enter in 1st place as we go through the cable car ride. Now get ready for lap number 2.
See Will getting that lead right now, but Hero with the recovery. Where did Hero come from? We mentioned that Hero, if he gets 1st place, that's it. That's 10 points, and he's going to be at 51.
Yeah, so Will, while he might want to go for something crazy like the 3-peat, he also has to remember all he needs to do is try to stay healthily above WooJun, and he should be safe for the top 4 to make it into the round of 16. Hong also trying to get some revenge of trying to climb back towards WooJun and Will, currently in 2nd place.
It's certainly looking great for Will at the moment. Hong is trying to catch up, but Hong also needs to be mindful of Hero, whereas Will seems to have much more space in his arsenal, as we see Will once again entering the middle, 3 players choosing the same path.
Yeah, Will's took the right side line, which, you know, coming into the KDL, a lot more racers seem to be preferring the left side, but Will wanted to avoid a lot of the collisions. And to me, it seems like Will, he doesn't worry too much about Hong. He's much more worried about Hero entering in 1st place. Will wants to get more points, get a higher standing going in to the round of 16.
Will is quite far away from Hong, but just as you put it, he's not too concerned. He just wants to prevent Hero from going for that 1st place. Hero really looking for it at the moment, but the collision comes in. And Will, he gets his 2nd 1st place of the solos tonight.
Wow, 2 in a row, and Will actually just 1 track away of making an upset finish here in the redemption match. He's only sitting at 31 points, but he does have 2 in a row, only 1 track away from the 3-peat.
This is such a close group of solos here. and it fits the theme of redemption. These players want that. They got a second chance and they need to secure it tonight. As we see Will securing those 10 points for himself, it was much needed because Will is a player that can definitely stay top 4 as long as he can keep these up.
Yeah, meanwhile, Hero still very safe at 45, so all things considered, he should be, safely in second place, whether it's Striker or Will who overtakes him eventually. But there's a chance here that Will could go up in first place, get his pick in the round of 16. The big question is can he handle the pressure of being so close to the finish line here in the redemption match?
There's so many different ways we can end it on this next track. Round 7 could be our final round of the solo redemptions tonight, as we're seeing Hero only 5 points away from 50, Striker 9 points away, and Will, he just needs one more first place. So 3 players that have a chance to end it here on round 7.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a chance that, all of them somehow end it, but the standings change based on the points they get. So we're going to have to wait and see as we see the next selection from Will. He takes us to Forest Zigzag Timberland.
And here we are on round 8, and as you guys can see in the graphics there, Will is on his 2-win streak. So off this phenomenal start from Will, if he's able to get that 3rd victory, that means he's leaving this group as the 1st seed.
Yeah, and I do love the start from Will. He goes aggressively for the wide cuts, and he's able to take advantage of that. He started in the middle of the pack, and he still goes for it right to left. And he's able to get that boost gauge advantage, now starting in first place here in lap 1. However, the question is Will, can you handle the pressure of potential attacks coming in from multiple opponents? Because this track is another one with very difficult hairpins towards the end of the lap.
That's why I was really surprised when Will chose it, but so far he's doing a phenomenal job, and you can see Hong really trying to catch up and prevent Will from getting that 3-peat, but there's also Squad and Hero that Hong's got to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, right now, trying to just make sure the race doesn't end, but for some of these players at the bottom of the scoreboard, it's not just Will you have to worry about. As we mentioned, Striker and Hero all in range of finishing the redemption match here and now on Zigzag Timberland. We enter the first lap of the hairpins, and Will, he's defending himself very well from Striker. Striker's one of those racers who's been able to play this very safe pension meta here in the redemption match, just steadily getting into, 2nd, 3rd place in the points.
Hero needs 3rd place or higher. Striker needs that 1st place along with Will. So we can see the 3 players that matter the most here in round 8 all being top 3 right now.
Yeah, in some ways, however, a lot more pressure on Will, right? Because if he doesn't get first place, he's not going to be in the top 2 to get his own selection into the round of 16. He's going to be at the mercy of potential other players, or, depending on who finishes, he might even get knocked down a rank. So Will, a lot more pressure on him to try to get into first place.
Currently, it's looking like it's Hero looking to be that 1st place finisher from the redemption of solos tonight, as he's able to win on that line trade against Squad. Will trying to catch up, but he's a bit far behind at the moment.
Yeah, but he's found a good opening, and he should get a couple more chances for drafts. However, he has to play defense, and he does! He's able to weave in between a couple of these opponents, but not able to recover. A little bit swerving off to the right, and Ding just bypasses all of that collision. He's now in first place. Will still has a shot. He's in draft range. Striker and Ding, they're ping-ponging back and forth. Hero right behind. Hero, he wants to get the draft, but he can't keep the top speed. And Striker, he bypasses both of them, and he's gonna enter in first place. He will get 51 points to his name with the 10, and he will be finishing the redemption match in first place, as Hero also gets 50 points, but 1 point below Striker should put him in second.
A miracle play from Striker there, getting that 1st place locked in. But Hero's not going to be too upset about that one, because being the 2nd place of the group means that you still get to choose your group. It's only the 3rd place and 4th place that's at a disadvantage, because if the 1st place and the 2nd place player chooses the same group, then you're kind of forced to go into the other one.
Yeah, so, I mean, Striker, what a dramatic way. He's a racer we didn't really mention much because he's just been quietly racing his own tracks here all throughout, and right when it matters most, he's able to put his name on the board in first place. And this pushes Will down to 4th place, so while he had a great redemption of being able to make it to the round of 16, he will not have a choice at all, as he will be at the mercy of the 3 other racers.
Congratulations to our 4 players that made it out of redemption match. On the other side, we have WooJun, Skald, Hong, and Squad that didn't really make it today, but it was really close in the beginning, so they did a phenomenal job in the solos.
Yeah, Ding just, happy that he's able to move on and not getting the three-peat. We saw Will go for the same signal there. Both of them had a shot, so did Hero, but they're not able to get it. Striker says, hey, it doesn't matter. You just got to get first place at the end. You got to get first place when it matters, and he proved it, getting that 51, dramatically crossing the line. So once again, Striker, Hero, Ding, and Will continue here in the KDL as they move on to the round of 16. Unfortunately, we will be saying goodbye to WooJun, Skald, Hong, and Squad in the solo matches.
Today was such a close day, and I love that Striker was able to clutch it in the end there. Near the end of that Zigzag Timberland, there was so much collisions, and we had no idea who would come out on top, but Striker, off of his own play, securing that first place must feel great.
Yeah, I mean, Hero was trying to bypass Ding as well, and Ding is able to block off Hero. He can't keep up his top speed, and Striker says, that's my moment, gets the draft, gets his boost, and is able to bypass both of them, getting that final 10 points. So 51 for Striker. He will be getting his first selection, and we'll have to wait and see how the final groups look in the round of 16.
The round of 32 of solos has been a long journey, Will, and now we've gotten through it all and now ready for a round of 16s. And we don't have the names up yet. We will see that in a moment, potentially. But the group is just so stacked. As the KDLs went on, we got to see so many different players have their shot at solos. Last season, it was Looning being the champion of solos, and we may have a new player this time around. I really like solos because it's a completely different atmosphere from team. You just rely on your own skill, and that takes you to the top.
Yeah, and it's hard to stay dominant for so long, right? Obviously, historically, we've had a couple players here and there who have been able to do that. Obviously, Cool to some extent, World to some extent, and then back in Kart Rider League, of course, WooJun. But we'll have to wait and see if that is able to start here in the KDL. Let's take a review of how things have gone down today in the KDL before we get to the final standings. So we started with the team matches. It was a day of professional teams versus the amateur teams.
Liiv SANDBOX taking a win. The fans really predicted this one. There was more than 90% in the favor of Liiv SANDBOX, and it was a pretty easy sailing for them. No ace match to be had.
Yeah, I mean, 3-2, a little bit rough on speed, but Liiv SANDBOX, they show that they've made improvements and have a good understanding of how they want to play item mode. We'll see if that continues as they try to continue their sail with this win streak towards the postseason. Still looking like one of the more formidable teams, but I do think we currently still see a gap between them and a team like KWANGDONG FREECS.
That is certainly the case. So Liiv SANDBOX has a lot of homework cut out for them, but it's good news at least that off the win today. They kind of feel like they have that homework ahead of them. And on the other side, we have KWANGDONG FREECS that we just mentioned briefly, the team that's looking unstoppable in the league at the moment, showing off against Always in speed 3-0. It was the cleanest speed we've seen in a while. And item, it was a bit shaky, but it managed.
Yeah, it managed, right? And that's all the KWANGDONG FREECS really needs in item mode because they're so dominant in speed mode. And you can see that in their own confidence and their play style. I mean, this is a team that they will get the lead in lap 1 and then they will keep it. And it seems like the only answer to that is try to mess up the rankings in lap 1, and not many teams have been able to challenge them in that aspect in speed mode. Now, item mode, a little bit of a different story. However, they do seem a bit more consistent than they did during the preseasons, and I gotta imagine some of it is thanks to the changes made to the game. It seems to favor the KDF just a tad bit.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that KDF, they're working on their item because now we're almost done with our preseason and we got to take a look at the standings to see how things went. KWANGDONG FREECS is the only undefeated team and Liiv SANDBOX with a 4-2 scoreline. Now looking very healthy. There's 3 teams under them with a 3-2 score. Yeah,
Mira and Sejong and Seongnam Ross, the other 2 professional teams, looking like they still have a very solid chance of making it to the postseason. And then Desperado, one of the amateur teams who has really been making a run for it. We'll see if they can protect that standing as we near the end, because of course the top 5 move on to the wild card and further of the postseason. And then we rounded out the night with our solo matches with a dramatic finish of Striker overtaking everyone at the end with 51 points.
Striker is having such a good season right now. I've gotten to see the excitement Striker has whenever he's able to get a clutch victory. Last time he won in an ace match as well, and it was just exciting to see how happy he was.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel the energy from Striker, and it seems like he's one of the racers that he definitely believes in himself, right? He just needed a couple more shots to prove himself here in the KDL, and right now he's doing that exact thing. Of course, we have more matches only halfway through the overall season for the very first season of the KDL. We return on Wednesday at 6 p.m. And ooh, right off the bat, it's going to be Seongnam Rocks. Can they finally give that first defeat to the Kwangdong Freaks?
It's looking like a day packed with action. We're following that up with Finale Esports up against Mire and Sejong. Mire and Sejong desperately need another win because they want to be 4-2 in the standings. Whereas Liiv SANDBOX, they would like to win against Desperado, given that Desperado's a strong contender right now for the postseason.
Yeah, and that could have some very big implications for the postseason as well, right? Because if Desperado wins, they will be moving up. But we'll review all of that when we return on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in once again to see how the team matches wrap up. That's it for KDL tonight. We'll see you on Wednesday, same place, same time.
Check if my name in your mouth, better add your respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is to throw. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone, throw it off in my brain and I'm back to the bone.